Chapter 051. Unexpectedly, Shirayasha actually made a move. At the edge of the crowd, Politibi, who was originally just quietly watching this farce, looked at Bayayasha with some emotion. Bolsius, this time, even if he is not dead, he will peel off his skin. Politibi, do you see something? Beside Politibi, Sarah frowned, and a tangled expression appeared on her face. How I don't feel right. Whether it is the leader of Bolsius, or the leader of Nameless, it seems that something is abnormal. Politibi glanced at Sarah, still too young. Doesn't feel right? Does this still need to feel that the designation is not right? Not to mention the previous series of wisdom reduction operations, just Luoz's final collision with the wave of white Yasha can determine that something is wrong. Who is Shirayasha? One of the oldest star spirits in the box court. The White Knight King who ranked in the top 10 of the box court. Did it speak? Even if he is now self-styled, the other party is still the strongest class dominator. One punch and one demon king. The strength is beyond doubt. With the Prestesian power of the other party, once he spoke, it meant to characterize their incident. Under this premise, Luoz also dared to confront Bayayasha. This is no longer a bad brain, it is simply a bad brain. I said, why did Shirayasha pull the frame in the first place? Politibi looked at Lin Kei, who was communicating with Letitia on the auction stage. Needless to say, Luoz, definitely this guy didn't run. Hakayakshaw should have also seen this, and would initially give Luoz a step back. It's a pity that Luoz, whose brain is already broken, will not go to that step at all, but will go against Hakayasha. Even for the sake of his own face, Bayayasha could not give the other party another chance this time. Interesting, it seems that this new leader of Nameless is a guy with a very bad personality. Lin Kei, isn't it a bit too much for you to do this? Backstage of the auction, Letitia, who knew the truth of the matter better than Politibi, spoke. In fact, there is no need to stimulate that guy so much. A Norman quotation will do. It's trivial to provoke Luoz, and it's the real trouble to involve Hakayasha. Letitia, don't talk nonsense, I've been quoting normally. Lin Kei raised his eyebrows and looked at Bayayasha, who suddenly appeared not far away. The fair and just Lord Shirayasha should have seen it too. I just quote a price normally, and the other party took the initiative to find trouble. You know better than I am whether Luoz is looking for something. Bayayasha squinted at Lin Kei. The 7 emotions and 6 desires water bought from me are very useful. Yes, it's great. Lin Kei gave a thumbs up. After I drank it, I didn't get out of bed for a few days. HMPH. You've overdone it this time. Bayayasha ignored Lin Kei's interruption. Aren't you going to give me an explanation? How do you feel? Very serious. Lin Kei looked at Bayayasha suspiciously. Luoz, it shouldn't be anything for this box court, right? Bayayasha lowered the corners of his mouth. Luoz is naturally nothing, but your calculation of my affairs makes me very uncomfortable. Oh, so what you care about is this? Lin Kei knocked his left hand on his right hand and made an expression of sudden realization. Quietly leaning next to Shirayasha, he pointed to Letitia and negotiated in a low voice. I'll go back and take 10 pictures of Letitia's maid outfit for you. How about this account be written off? HMPH. What do you think of us? You choose the dress, as long as you don't exaggerate too much. Let's think about it a little. 3 photos of the black rabbit are included, and the costume is also your choice. Deal. Bayayasha laughed for a moment. For the sake of our relationship, I will spare you for the time being this time. Remember not to have a next time, otherwise I wouldn't have let you go so simply. Lin Kei hesitated. If we don't discuss the next reward first. Shirayasha, this kid's real purpose should not be to fight her. After causing a commotion, Lin Kei naturally did not continue to stay at the auction. In order to prevent another accident, Bayayasha decisively chose to rush people and let Lin Kei and Letitia, who had been auctioned off, go home. As for the bill of up to 100 W gold coins, she directly sent someone to the territory of Halloween Queen. Walking out of the auction and looking at the familiar scenery outside, Letitia couldn't help but feel a trance. Obviously, before this, he was ready to be photographed away by others, and he would never see his former companion again. Unexpectedly, in less than a month, everything was reversed. Turning her head silently, Letitia looked at Lin Kei. This is a miracle? She thought about what Hakayakshaw had said to her a month ago. The invitation that summoned Lin Kei was given the concept of miracle. Miracle? Hearing Letitia's muttering, Lin Kei looked over. Isn't this a simple little thing, and there is no need to rise to the level of miracles? For me, it is no different from a miracle. Letitia smiled and asked curiously, Lin Kei, what did you just say to Lord Shirayasha? Obviously 1 second she was still angry, and the next second she laughed directly, and for the first time she saw Bayayasha talking so well. Ahem is some simple exchange of benefits. Lin Kei coughed and replied righteously, as the saying goes, there are no eternal friends, only eternal interests. Hakayasha will be angry, also because he lost face. As long as enough benefits are given to let her regain face, it will naturally be discouraged. Letitia nodded thoughtfully. So it is. Although it still feels a little strange, it does make sense. Okay, Don't worry about this kind of thing anymore. Lin Kei touched Letizia's little head and diverted her attention. Go back to Nameless. Black Rabbit has been waiting for a long time. Chapter 052. Familiar ceiling. Waking up from his coma and looking at the furnishings around him that were exactly the same as the room he usually lived in, Liu Oz was stunned for a second. The next second, remembering what had happened before, he sat up sharply from the bed. The duration of the 7 emotions and 6 desires water lasted for up to 1 day, and Liu Oz, who had just drunk it last night, was still not out of date. As soon as I thought of the previous events in my mind, the feeling of suffocation and anger in my heart could not stop rising. That damn bastard. How dare to humiliate like this? Who do you think you are? But it's just a Nameless and Hakayasha. It is clear that the Carters who are also thousand-eyed actually took their initiative to help outsiders. Pulling up the furnishings on the side, the incompetent and furious Liuos directly turned into a husky and demolished the room. I don't know how long it took. After even smashing the bed he usually slept in, Liuos finally calmed down a little. What about people? Roll me over. Lord Liuos, the captain of the guard, who had been standing at the door, walked in immediately. The subordinates are here. What are your orders? What's the situation now? In the burning anger, the few remaining sanities led Liuos to ask the most crucial question. Did anything else happen after I passed out? The captain of the guard hesitated, but in the end did not hide it and chose to report truthfully. Lord Shirayasha then sent 1,000 eyes people over and determined that Bolosius's total wealth was insufficient to pay the 70 watts gold coin offer at the auction. As a carder under the 1,000 eyes, not only did you make trouble at the auction, but also made random bids to disrupt order. Lord Shirayasha thinks you are derelict this time. However, for the sake of you as a colleague and unintentional transgression, there was no punishment, but only the revocation of your status as a carder of the 1,000 eyes. What did you say? The strings representing reason completely shattered, and Liu Oz's eyes widened, and their expression on his face twisted. That bastard of Hakayasha revoked my identity as a carder of 1,000 eyes? How dare she? Does she have that permission? She does this. In theory, there is. The captain of the guard's expression became subtle. It's like 4 and 4 digits breaking the line. Both on the surface are 4 digits, but in reality the latter punches the former. Although Liu Oz and Bayasha are both carders of the 1,000 eyes, their identities and their power in their hands are not at the same level at all. Under the premise of having a handle, Bayasha can revoke the identity of a 1,000-eyed carder, which is completely possible. After looking at Liu Oz, who roared in front of him, he once again turned into a husky and took down the room. The captain of the guard hesitated for a few seconds before suddenly speaking. Lord Liu Oz, do you want revenge? Liu Oz's body paused, and his bloodshot eyes looked over. Even if he was angry again, he understood what the words of the captain of the guard meant. Interesting, tell me what you think. If you can't satisfy me, you can just get out of Bolsius. For me, rest assured, Lord Liu Oz. The captain of the guard took out a photo from his arms. This method can definitely take revenge to Nameless, which satisfies you. Lord Letizia. Welcome back. In front of the Nameless gate, after noticing the return of Lin Kei and the Black Rabbit immediately ran up and hugged Letitia. I'm back, Black Rabbit. Touching the Black Rabbit with moist eyes, a gentle smile appeared on Letizia's face. Sorry to worry you. It's nothing. All this is Lin Kei's credit. Black Rabbit stood up with the same joyful smile on his face. Nameless has a new leader, and under the leadership of the new leader, he gradually develops and finds his former partner. Thinking of this fantastic experience, the Black Rabbit, who had been worried until just now, finally breathed a sigh of relief. Until the auction ended, Letitia had been ostensibly operating with 1,000 eyes, but their ownership was actually still with the unknown Demon King. Once the other party repents, he can take Letitia away at any time. But after the auction, that doesn't happen again. Lord Letitia's weight is nameless. Even if the other party wants to take it away again, it can only be taken through the gift game. This time we are ready and will never repeat the same mistakes. Oh Tilda? Sounds pretty hot. Lin Kei stretched out his finger and poked the Black Rabbit's cheek. Then may I ask our chief staff, what should I do next? Black Rabbit said for a while, that anyway, first celebrate the return of Lord Letizia. Sure enough, it's still as useless as ever. Lin Kei shook his head and looked at the vampire lorry on the side. Letitia, tell Black Rabbit what you really need to do. Yes, master. Huh? The Black Rabbit paused physically. Wait a minute. What the hell is the owner? Why did Lord Letitia call Lin Kei that? Because in this incident, it was the owner who made money, participated in the auction, and bought me. Under Lin Kei's order, Letizia, whose identity was temporarily the female, pet, servant, thing, regiment, second, commander, number, replied. Now my possession is in the hands of the master, so I should call him master. The Black Rabbit looked back and forth at the two of them a few times, and was a little dumbfounded. But please don't care, Black Rabbit. Letitia interrupted with a smile. Although this title is the request of the master, I do not resist. Okay, People get it. The Black Rabbit replied weakly. Anyway, people are just a decoration. Even if they say anything, everyone will not listen. Don't beat yourself up, Black Rabbit, Letitia encouraged. In the next plan, you still have a little work. Black Rabbit, why did you pause in a very subtle place, and then use a very insulting word? Chapter 053. So, what's next? Faced with Leisha's encouragement, which she didn't know if it could be called encouragement, Black Rabbit asked with a cheer. Are you going to participate in some big bounty game and make a name for our community? Or do you want to become a regional dominator first, and form a gift game as the organizer yourself? Neither. Letitia shook her head. Just wait for the Forsgaro people to send them to the door, and then grab the other party's handle. Forsgaro? I felt that this name was a little. Black Rabbit recalled a little, and soon remembered who the other party was. I remember that it was a community belonging to the 666 beasts, and it was an outer door with us, and its reputation was a bit bad. 666 beast is a very large three-digit community that occupies the outer gate of 666 in the east area of Hoting. However, since its leader, the 666 beasts, was defeated by the Christian one, he left the box court directly and disappeared from people's eyes. The once mighty 666 beast is now just an empty existence. Once the masters in the alliance have left, and the rest are basically some rabble. Of course, even if they are rabble, they are members of a three-digit community. In the seven-digit outer door where no strong person exists, Forsgaro is still a hegemon-level existence. Before summoning Lin K, even the Black Rabbit who ran around on weekdays to host various bounty games had heard about this matter. However, people remember that Forsgaro, which is a very bullying community. Not only are we in Lin K, but now we have Lord Letitia's return. Unless they suddenly go crazy, they can't come to mess with the Nameless. That's right. Under normal circumstances, they really don't dare to mess with us. Lin K smiled and asked rhetorically, what if it's not normal? The Black Rabbit tilted his head. Abnormal situation? For example, someone pays a lot of money to hire them. The smile on Lin K's face became more and more intense. There is no need to target us as their main force, just hire them to kidnap nameless children who have no power. But even so, it's still too dangerous. The Black Rabbit frowned. Once it is not properly exposed, it will have to pay a heavy price in their end. In the face of the villains who tried to kidnap the child, even if the Black Rabbit found out, he would kill the killer. Then don't you limit the premise. Lin K raised a finger and shook it. You were invited by other communities to be the host of the gift game, and Letitia and I were invited to go out on errands. In the entire community, in a short period of time, there are only children who have little combat effectiveness, as well as a newcomer who has just joined the community, Ganlu Temple Honey. After noticing this, you only need to kidnap a few children through the Nameless Gate to get a large amount of money to live in the outside world for decades or even 100 years. Under this premise, do you still think Forsgaro will not make a move, huh? The ears on the top of the Black Rabbit's head shook restlessly. Even if she is naive, she is not sure that the other party will not make a move in the face of this situation. That's not right. At this moment, the Black Rabbit seemed to have thought of something, and suddenly looked at Lin K excitedly. Aren't we discussing our next steps? Why are we suddenly sure that, Forsgaro, people will come to do something? Lin K, shouldn't you be behind people's backs and do something bad in secret? I didn't do anything, so I went to the auction and bought Letitia back. Lin K shrugged. It's just that some people have too small hearts, just because they don't have enough financial resources. They want to do it in private and take revenge. It still sounds suspicious. The fox glanced at Lin K suspiciously, and the Black Rabbit suddenly remembered another thing. Speaking of which, Lord Letitia just said that people have a role in the next plan. This role, should it be? That's right. Lin frowned his head. In order to cooperate with the plan, I will trouble you to go out and take over the work of a host at that time. Not being in the community these days is your greatest help to us. How so? The Black Rabbit suddenly grabbed Lin K's arm excitedly. There must still be it. There must be something that rabbits can do well. Not being in the community is the biggest contribution or something. Even people can't accept it. Sorry, Black Rabbit. Lin K held the little hand of the Black Rabbit with one hand and touched her head with the other, with a gentle smile on his face. At least in the next phase, your absence is the best help. The Black Rabbit knelt on the ground. Woo. This is also too cruel. Do people really have a role? Well, you've already helped me a lot. Lin K tried to recall. It's like helping to manage the community when I'm usually away, helping to take care of the children, helping to purchase ingredients, and so on. Oh. By the way, the one who borrowed money also played a big role, didn't it? Finally thinking of something to say, Lin K lifted his spirits and added, if it weren't for your efforts, Black Rabbit, it wouldn't have attracted the attention of the Halloween Queen and sent an envoy. You are definitely the second most hero in bringing back Letizia. The Black Rabbit raised his head with teary eyes. Really? Lin Y nodded. Really? Although there are only 2 heroes in total. Chapter 054. Don't worry, Black Rabbit. Taking care of the rabbit's emotions for the time being, Lin Kei thought about it and added, the only time you can relax is now. When the Nameless officially starts later, even if you want to stop and rest, there will be no vacation. Then it's settled. After hearing that he would have a lot to do in the future and was no longer a simple mascot, Black Rabbit finally regained his spirits. People are awesome. Leave any work to others. Where are you from? Lin Kei glanced at the Black Rabbit subtly. Although he didn't do it intentionally, this rabbit didn't voluntarily give himself to the CPU. I'll talk about the work tomorrow, and let's celebrate the return of Lord Letitia today. After regaining his spirits, Black Rabbit pushed open the door behind him, revealing a dilapidated front yard that had been cleaned up by Ganlu Temple Honeyglass. I have prepared the ingredients. The children should be decorating the scene now. Two of you come in. Master, is it really okay to do this? Looking at the back of the Black Rabbit, Letitia was silent for a few seconds and suddenly asked in a low voice. Anyway, Black Rabbit is also a nameless staff officer. Isn't it good to rank her out like this? Even if you don't let the other party do anything, at least explain in private what they will do next. No, Letitia, you're still too naive. In the face of the other party's doubts, Lin Kei did not waver in the slightest. What we're doing now is essentially the same as Forsgaro, kidnapping children in private. They are all types that drill loopholes and can't leave evidence. If you tell Black Rabbit, do you think she can be questioned by Shirayasha without showing her horse's feet? Why did Bayayasha discover his small movements before, but still let him go easily? In addition to Lin Kei's own strength is not weak, the most important thing is that there is no direct or indirect evidence left. Of course, he only engaged in small-scale trouble, and did not cause widespread damage and casualties to disrupt order, which is also a little reason. Black Rabbit's words. It really doesn't lie. On the side, thinking back to the other party's previous performance, Letitia was also a little helpless. Not to mention a professional like Shirayasha. If someone is a little more serious and asks, the Black Rabbit will definitely show his feet. You don't have to care about the Black Rabbit side. Although she can't accept it, she still has a lot of things she should do. Lin Kei thought for a while, and then added, if you really don't care, prepare a gift for her. Afterwards, recalling the two scenes of returning from the other world before, Lin Kei's face was full of confidence. With the character of the Black Rabbit, as long as you receive a gift, you will definitely forget about the unpleasant things all at once. Letitia asked thoughtfully, do you need me to help the master prepare a copy? Then please. A smile appeared on Lin Kei's face. The gift of mine. I think I'll call it rabbit eating. Letitia, are you sure you didn't send a murder weapon? Silently, Letitia learned more about the harshness of her master. At the same time that the nameless crowd held a banquet and began to celebrate the return of Letitia. In the territory of Forsgaro, a group of strong orcs gather here. Boss Jeweled, today doesn't seem to be the day of the assembly. Why did you suddenly call us all back? The orc with the leopard's head licked the corner of his mouth, and an excited look appeared on his face. Isn't it time to find the right target again? Good. The tiger-headed orc known as Jeweled nodded, an excited smile on his face. I received a big order today. The people of Bolsius reached out to us and asked us to kidnap a few of nameless children. As long as you can succeed, you can get 5-figure gifts and thousands of gold coins. What? A 5-figure bounty? Really fake? This should be no problem. Yes, the remuneration is so rich. Why invite a small community like us? As soon as Jewel's voice fell, doubts came from all directions. Doing shady work in the dark for many years, none of these orcs are stupid. Or rather, the stupid ones are already dead. The rest of the people are basically the kind of bad personalities and a little clever. As soon as they heard that Bolsius offered such a generous reward, everyone instantly became suspicious. Be quiet. What you can think of, I can't think of. Jard snorted coldly and replied, Bolsius will come to us for a simple reason. They need us to leave the box court and go to the outside world. After we have done this, leaving no evidence. Think for yourselves, who else in this neighborhood is willing to take this job besides us? The external environment is not as good as the box court, and once you leave, it is difficult to easily obtain powerful gifts. Leaving the box court basically means giving up the future. A community with a little potential cannot accept such a commission. But Forsgaro is different. Each of them is an unmotivated offender who has killed people outside of the bounty game. Instead of worrying about living in the box court every day, worrying about which day what he has done will be exposed. It's better to get enough pay and go to the outside world to live a life of wine. Don't worry, I also took this task after careful consideration. After persuading the group of younger brothers in a few words, the tiger-headed man Jard continued, the nameless looks powerful, but in fact, it is supported by the new leader still. Moon Rabbit. Even if it is the vampire that the other party just bought, there are only 3 people who threaten us in total. Bolsius has promised to help me create a time when all 3 of them are not in the unknown. As long as we wait for the news from that side before we act, we will definitely not be able to miss. Chapter 055. Time passed slowly, and several days had passed since Lin Kei photographed Letitia in their blink of an eye. Just when Lin Kei was basking in the sun in the courtyard as usual, there was finally movement on the side of Bolsius. "Master, this is a letter from Bolsius." With a pair of white stockings on her legs and a blue and white maid outfit, Leisha came from not far away. A fresh breeze blew past her ears, ruffling her long silky blonde hair. The small leather shoes come into contact with the ground, bringing a clicking sound. Handing the letter in her hand to Lin Kei, Letitia skillfully came behind Lin Kei and said while pinching her shoulders, "It seems that the leader of Bolsius can't wait. It's a little faster than I expected." Lin Kei opened the envelope and glanced at the contents of it cursorily. To sum it up, Liu Oz wants to apologize for the misunderstanding at the auction a few days ago. To this end, he specially held a grand banquet in Bolsius, and wanted to invite Lin Kei and Letitia, who were the parties, to participate. It seems a little nonsensical, not in line with the character of Liu Oz, a gentle child. But in reality, this invitation to reconciliation is not surprising. After all, today's Nameless not only has Lin Kei, the mysterious pure-blood dragon species, but also Letitia, the famous vampire king. Even if you exclude the black rabbit that cannot be easily shot, it is stronger than most five-figure communities in terms of high-end combat power. For Bolsius, who has been going downhill, it is better to put down some face and reconcile with Nameless than to stalemate. However, Black Rabbit just left yesterday, and today he sent an invitation to invite the two of us. Lin Kei couldn't help but laugh. This guy really has no patience at all, and he wants to take revenge immediately at every opportunity. If you think about it, maybe the departure of the Black Rabbit is not a coincidence. In Lin Kei's prediction, Black Rabbit should have gone to Bayayasha and got a host jobs from their other party. But in fact, Black Rabbit suddenly received an invitation from a 6-digit community yesterday, hoping that she could host her own bounty game before leaving. It may seem similar, but in essence it is the difference between active and reactive. If nothing else, the community that invited the Black Rabbit should be related to Bolsius. It seems that we have to investigate the community when we go back. Letitia on the side also thought of this, looked at Lin Kei and asked, "Do you want to leave immediately?" "No hurry, the banquet will only start in the evening." The index finger and thumb rubbed slightly, pinched the letter into powder and threw it into the air, and Lin Kei was behind Letitia. Today the Black Rabbit is not at home when he goes out, and no one will come to disturb him, just to see how the maid quality of his little maid is. The sun sets and the sky is littered with starlight. In the palace hall in the center of Bolsius, Liu sat on the main throne, his eyes wandering to the crowd below. What about the Nameless people? Why hasn't it come yet? After more than 10 minutes, he suddenly looked at the captain of the guard on the side, with a vicious expression on his face. "Didn't you tell me that as long as you hold a banquet in the name of apology and send invitations, those two guys will definitely come? It's been an hour since the banquet started. How come I didn't even see the shadow of the other party?" In order to make this reconciliation seem more formal, he really invited many guests from other communities. Now that the Lord is delayed, the banquet hall has begun to discuss this matter in private. Even if there is no 7 emotions and 6 desires, in the face of this embarrassing and shameful scene, Liu's heart still rises with anger. "This matter was planned by you, and you must bring someone to me today no matter what." Grabbing the captain of the guard by the collar, Liu threatened viciously in a low voice, "If you can't bring it, you don't have to come back." I understand." Wiping the sweat from the corner of his forehead, the captain of the guard, who also did not expect Lin Kei to be a pigeon, took a step forward and prepared to personally go to Nameless to check the situation. But before he could take a few steps, the gate of the palace not far away suddenly opened to both sides. Under the gaze of everyone, 2 figures, one tall and one short, slowly walked in from outside the door. "Good evening, Chief Liu." Without changing his face, he accepted the gaze of everyone at the banquet, and Lin Kei, who was an hour late, greeted the other party. "If you encounter some unexpected situations, you are a little late, so it should not matter. It's okay, just 2 of you can come." Liu got up and took the initiative to come to Lin Kei, and looked at him with a smile. "Speaking of which, the leader of Lin Kei is a pure-blood dragon species. To be able to delay you for so long, it should not be that you ran into a 4-figure demon king on the road." "Not really." Lin Kei patted Letitia's head on the side, and a meaningful smile appeared on his face. "The main thing is that my little maid is more playful, and accidentally pulled me to overplay." Letitia on the side replied with some embarrassment, "This time I am indeed derelict in my duties, and I will bring the master on time next time." "Next time? I really want to kill you 2 dog men and women right now." As a self-satisfied waste, Liu may not be able to do anything else, but he is definitely professional in entertainment. In just a moment, he understood the potential meaning of Lin Kei and the 2. In his own inner torment, in order not to lose face, anxiously waiting for the arrival of the 2, this pair of dog men and women actually started a music party at home. "What's wrong, Chief Liu?" Lin Kei's voice came again, Your face seems to be a little not very good. Have you eaten a bad stomach? Liu O's, are you here to reconcile, or to find fault? Chapter 056, at the banquet, tell the organizer if his stomach is broken. After living for so long, Liu O's was the first time he had met someone as good as Lin Kei. If it was the usual Liu O's, he would definitely scold back on the spot and question whether there was something wrong with the other party's brain. But it was Lin Kei who said this today, an absolute strong person whose strength has stepped into the 4-digit realm, and he is the one who wants to reconcile on the surface. In the case of not breaking his brain, even Liu O's will not be stupid enough to confront the other party. Of course, Liu O's does not need to be tough with the other party head-on. Thinking of his plan, he looked at Lin Kei's gaze inexplicably arrogant, and he had a sense of superiority in completing the crush in terms of IQ. Chief Lin Kei, I suddenly remember that I still have some things I haven't done, and I need to leave for a while. Liu O's, who was about to inform Forsgro to move, turned around and beckoned to the captain of the guard not far away. The one over there. Bring it to me. During the time I leave, you will be responsible for helping to receive Chief Lin Kei. If something goes wrong, I'll ask you. Yes, I have already explained. The two of you will act on your own on this side first, and you can ask him any questions casually. Speaking of this, Liu O's paused slightly, and a happy smile suddenly appeared on his face. By the way, when I come back later, I will bring you a gift to Chief Lin Kei, just as compensation for my collision with Chief Lin Kei the day before yesterday. It's not a coincidence. Lin Kei also showed a happy smile on his face. In order to compensate for my mistake the day before yesterday, I also prepared a gift for the leader of Liu O's. Would you like to compare and see whose gift is more powerful? You too? Liu O's was stunned, and suddenly laughed a few times. Then I have to look forward to it. Outside the nameless territory, the orcs from Forsgro hid in dark corners, quietly waiting for the news. I don't know how long it took. A dog-headed orc suddenly ran over from not far away and opened his mouth to report. Boss Jard, Bolsius, has sent a message. Let's do it immediately. Okay, everyone get ready. Pulling out a helmet from his arms, Jard, the tiger-headed orc, put it on his head. In the next instant, his body began to gradually become transparent and disappear in place. This is the temporary prop he got from the client of Bolsius. Today, you can hide your body shape for easy movement. Although Jard was a little puzzled why there were no strong people in the nameless territory, and he had to hide his figure. But the explanation from the other party is that this can launch a sneak attack from the cover to ensure that the nameless child is captured at the first time and the battle is ended in the shortest possible time. It's just a kid who doesn't have much combat effectiveness to catch a group. Where to use such a high-level gift? The captain of the Bolsius Guard is really unfounded. After treating the opponent's approach as a distrust of his own strength, Jared muttered a little unpleasantly, and then looked at his teammates who had also entered a stealth state. After confirming that everyone was ready, he led the group of orcs directly to the gate of Nameless, jumped in from above. His gaze swept around, and Gelder, who had done the investigation in advance, rushed towards the right front. Follow me, those kids are. Before he finished speaking, a small white hand suddenly fell from above, grabbed Gelder's head and smashed it to the ground. Boom. Sure enough, some thieves chose to sneak into the territory when Lin Kei and them left. Taking off the helmet on Jard's head, Ganlu Temple Mary's gaze swept around. Since it is a gift of mass production, the effect of stealth helmets is only to hide the figure. With the domineering nature of just getting started, Ganlu Temple Honeylee is fully capable of accurately locating the location of these orcs. In just a few dozen breaths, she had already reached the peak of 6 figures, and she solved all these infiltrators. Few finally got it all. After making sure that no one had escaped, Ganlu Jamiri held the stealth helmet taken from their heads of these orcs and walked to a white-haired Lilai. Shiraya-sama, do you know this thing? No. Invited by Lin Kei to come to Nameless, but found that Ayasha, who had released the pigeon, twitched the corner of his eye, and replied truthfully. This is the invisible helmet made in mass by Bolsius. Feeling that the name was somewhat familiar, Ganlu Temple Mary thought about it and suddenly reacted. Isn't this the community that invited Lin Kei and Lisha to the banquet today? Looking at Ganlu Jaimiri, who seemed to really know nothing in front of him, Shirayasha replied, again, it is indeed that community. In that case, isn't there a problem? Receiving an affirmative answer, Ganlu Temple Mary's expression became serious. As soon as the front foot invited Lin Kei and them to leave, someone on the back foot attacked, with the gift of that community. That, Borsius, I'm afraid he will attack Lin Kei and Letizia. Lord Hakayasha, I need to temporarily guard the territory to prevent accidents. Can I ask you to help them? Are you sure you didn't ask her to help? Bolsius? His eyes subtly glanced at Ganlu Temple Honey, and Ayasha, who understood most of the ins and outs at the first time, sighed. No wonder he had to discuss the reward for another offense the other day. This was simply designed in advance, and Lin Kei was ready to kill Bolsius from the beginning. And as a party who has witnessed everything, Bayayasha still has no evidence to confirm Lin Kei's problem. He could only be obediently calculated by the other party, and then follow Lin Kei's plan as in eyewitness. Hard, fists hard. Chapter 057. Chief Lin Kei, I'm back. In the banquet hall, Liu Oz, who had just finished notifying Forsgro, returned here. After finding Lin Kei, who was swaying around with Lisha, his eyes subconsciously looked around, but he did not find the figure of the captain of the guard. What about the guy? Where did the people go? Lin Kei casually made up the reason. If you mean the staff member who was arranged for me. His face suddenly changed just now, and he left after saying something. Of course. The real situation is that Forsgro attacked Nameless, and the third thing that Lin Kei asked the captain of the guard to do came to an end. After getting the godhead from Lin Kei through the gift game contract book, the other party ran directly away from Borsius, and rushed towards the outside of the box court. Something to leave? Liu Oz, who still did not know the truth of the matter, frowned. That's because I didn't entertain. Well, I will punish him later. To be honest, Liu Oz really couldn't understand what his own guard captain could be more important than the task he had arranged. These are small things, don't care. After all, you can't find anyone else. Lin Kei chuckled and changed the topic directly. Speaking of which, you said before that you had a gift for me. It's okay now, why don't you take it out and take a look? This is the store ownership of a children's toy store owned by Bolsius. Hearing Lin Kei's words, Liu Oz was also unambiguous, and directly took out a certificate of possession of the shop from his arms and handed it to Lin Kei. I heard that Nameless has a lot of young children, and I hope they like it. Letitia on the side raised her head and glanced at Liu Oz calmly. While sending people to attack the Nameless kidnapping child, he also gave gifts to the children. The other party's personality is really bad enough. However, silently glancing at Lin Kei, Letitia took pity on the other party again. Not to mention the degree of badness, their own master is even worse. Worthy of being the leader of Liu Oz. Sure enough, the moment he saw the other party's gift, Lin Kei suddenly laughed loudly. Every step you do, it's the same as I thought. Oops, it's not good to go on like this, but the confidence will explode. What does that mean? Faced with the sudden change in Lin Kei's attitude, Liu Oz frowned slightly, and a sense of foreboding rose in his heart. Is there anything bad about the gift I gave? Don't care to be honest. The gift you gave is still very good. Lin Kei waved his hand casually. It's just that I suddenly feel that I can probably understand why you were chosen. Selected? Liu Oz became more and more incomprehensible. What does this mean? What is selected? Lin Kei shrugged. Of course it's literal. Why was Argyl's seal kept in Bolus's custody for Liu Oz? Before this, Lin Kei actually didn't think much about this problem, and even wondered if Liu Oz had any hidden characteristics. But now it seems that he is thinking a little too much. Greek mythology, or the goddess of wisdom, let Liu Oz keep the seal purely because he was wasteful. Even if he loses twice and is demoted from a star spirit to a god, Arja in the seal is still a top 4-digit powerhouse. The best way to avoid trouble for the person holding the seal is to find someone who cannot exert Arja's power. People like Liu Oz are perfect candidates. The community is large and will not be easily defeated, and the seal will be lost. Poor personality, no ambition, only thinking about eating, drinking, and having fun every day, and no idea of working hard. More importantly, Liu Oz's incompetence made the arrogant Arja have no intention of contacting the other party at all. This can no longer be said to be perfect. It is a complete match made in heaven. Born, waste out of a million. After thoroughly figuring out this problem, Lin Kei no longer accompanied the other party to act, and his face showed a playful look. Liu Oz, you should have said before, look forward to the gift I prepared for you or the gift you prepared, which is more powerful, right? You think my gift is too bad? Liu Oz, who had not yet reacted, frowned. Although it is only a children's toy mall, the scale and geographical location of the store are not bad. If it works well, it can have a profit of thousands of gold coins every month, which is already. You better shut up, Liu Oz. Before Liu Oz's words were finished, he was interrupted by a sudden voice. Following the voice, a look of doubt suddenly flashed in his eyes. Bayayasha, what are you doing here? Don't you have to ask yourself this? With a wave of Bayayasha's small hand, a batch of invisible helmets suddenly appeared on their ground in front of him. Not going to give an explanation? Liu Oz looked at the invisible helmet on the ground suspiciously. Even if you say so, I don't know what you are referring to. That's true. Bayayasha was clear, and his eyes looked at Lin Kei. Bully this kind of stupid person with poor brains, don't you feel guilty? Hey, what do you mean by that? Before Lin Kei could speak, Liu Oz, who heard this on the side, was unhappy first. Even if you are Bayayasha, you can't just scold me. What is a fool with an ill-informed head? Do you look down on me? Yes, we look down on you. Bayayasha did not hide his boredom. If you had a normal brain, you wouldn't have hired someone to attack Nameless. Liu Oz. Chapter 058. In the lavish banquet hall, with the arrival of Shirayasha, silence fell silently. Guests from other communities around them retreated and ate this sudden melon. Hired someone to attack Nameless. and then found by Hakayasha. Hearing Shirayasha's words, everyone's faces showed a subtle color. It is worthy of Luo's, provoking Lin Kei and Bayayasha in one breath. This matter is really not something that ordinary people can rent. Wait a minute. Noticing that the other people's A's were wrong, Luo's couldn't care why what he did was exposed at the moment. For the sake of his reputation and the future of Bolsius, he immediately refuted. I didn't do what you said. This is slander. Shirayasha, even if you have a good relationship with the sky, you can't spread rumors like this. As a class dominator, you have to pay attention to evidence. Who told you I don't have proof? Hakayasha pulled out another record crystal. This was given to her by Ganlu Temple when she was about to leave Nameless. See for yourself. The finger tapped slightly on the recording crystal, and a translucent screen appeared in the hall. This is unnamed territories. Luo's, who had investigated in advance, instantly recognized the scene on the screen. A sense of foreboding rose in his heart, and Luo's subconscious thought of the captain of the guard who suddenly disappeared. Just as he was about to open his mouth and say something more, the picture on the screen suddenly changed. Ganlu Temple honey glass suddenly appeared from outside the screen and suddenly smashed towards the empty ground. Pulling her palm up, Ganlu Jamiri took off her invisible helmet, and Jord's figure appeared at her feet. After that, it's time for her to solve the picture of other orcs. Is there anything else you want to say? Hakayasha put away the record crystal and looked at Luo's. That's 27 stealth helmets. Don't you want to say they bought them? Being able to mass produce does not mean being able to produce indefinitely. The invisible helmet seems to be very general in the record crystal. But in fact, this thing is already a good high-end product in the box court. Usually, it takes a lot of time to make, and the price of selling it is not low. Forsgro naturally does not have the financial resources to buy so many invisible helmets. Even if that's the case, it doesn't mean that the person I hired to attack the Nameless Luo's continued to struggle. It is entirely possible that other communities deliberately disguised and framed after buying the invisible helmet from us. Since you said so, then please ask the true eye to strike. Bayayasha calmly spoke. As long as you swear in front of the other party, you haven't done all this and get the other party's approval, then I can promise to help you find the culprit of this matter and make amends for wronged you. Luo's finally hesitated this time. As a former carder of the Thousand Eyes, he certainly knew what the true eye represented. It was a 4-digit powerhouse with great strength, and his eyes could break through all their falsehood. Maybe in the face of a strong person of the same level, he may miss it. But looking at his 5-figure waste firewood, it is more than enough. Name your answer. Hakayasha's urging voice came. It's insisting that I didn't do this, and I'll go to see the true eye. Or admit what you did and accept the punishment of the Nameless party. This is not what I want to do. Luo's was silent for a moment, and suddenly spoke. It's the captain of the guard. It was the guy who encouraged me to do it. He just suddenly disappeared. He is definitely a traitor sent by other communities. Don't make a mistake. The captain of the guard in your mouth. I will naturally deal with it when I turn back. Bayayasha glanced at Lin Kei. Since you said so, it means that this matter was indeed done by you. As the party attacked Nameless, has the conditions to punish you. Lin Kei, do you have anything to say? To be honest, I was surprised. Lin Kei showed a surprised expression on his face. Obviously they are all ready to make peace, but I didn't expect the leader of Luo's to do such a thing. On the surface, one thing is secret, but it's really insidious. Nope, I'm not. Luo's jumped off the wall and said, in the end, I'm going to do this because you, the bastard, you bad for me. A nameless person, why resist again and again? Isn't it good to wait for death? Of course it's not good. Lin Kei smiled. Speaking of which, because of Bayayasha's interruption, you don't seem to have seen the gift I prepared for you. It's all up to this time. You're still saying, SHH, don't worry. Lin Kei put a finger to his mouth. The gift I prepared still has to be seen. Didn't you say before that you were looking forward to it? Bang tilde. A crisp collision sounded, and 2 red and blue orbs printed with the head of the snake-haired Banshee fell to the ground. Looking at Luo's, who suddenly froze in place, Lin Kei spread out his hands, and the smile on his face became more and more intense. How, Chief Luo's? Did this gift surprise you? Is it better than the gift you prepared? After seeing these 2 orbs clearly, Luo's brain suddenly became blank. Silently, a line connected all the things that happened today, making him subconsciously understand everything. You did it. He looked at Lin Kei angrily. That guy who ran away is also your rebellion. The plan he came up with was also planned by you. Hakayasha, this guy is the culprit. That's not going to work. Luo's. Lin Kei reminded, as you just said, you must talk about evidence when doing things. Shirayasha, tell him what the current situation is. Luo's, the leader of Bolsius, personally admitted that he hired men to attack Nameless, in an attempt to kidnap Nameless children. Bayayasha calmly replied, in order to take revenge for going back, the leader of Nameless, Lin Kei took out the props prepared in advance and challenged, Bolsius. Well anyway, That's it. Ignoring the word advance that Bei Ayasha deliberately emphasized, Lin Kei snapped his fingers and looked at Liu O's. Bet all the possessions of Bolsius, and play a game of bounty, Liu O's. Chapter 059. Bolsius, outside the territory. Because of the sudden gift game, the whole Bolsius was a mess, including the leader Liu O's. Everyone began to prepare for the battle in a panic. How does it feel? Opening the folding fan to cover the lower half of his face, Bei Ayasha quietly looked at Lin Kei in front of him. Is there anything you want to say about your victory? It seems that I am angry again. Lin Kei leaned over casually and pointed to Lita's ear not far away. 50 sheets this time. Almost. Bei Ayasha didn't eat this set at all. Don't say 50 this time, even if it's 100. It's not good. Question mark that. 200 including the black rabbit? Heart warmed. For a moment, Hakayasha shamefully found himself shaken. Shaking his head, Bei Ayasha, who felt that he could not be led by Lin Kei's rhythm, decided to take the initiative. Why do you want to do that? Bolsius probably didn't provoke you. This to death, which door has a deep hatred. 623. What did I do? Are you blind? Hakayasha pointed out a loophole. Those two challenge gifts are obviously prepared by you long ago. What do you want to say about this? Because I was prepared to fight, Bolsius, from the beginning. Others may be worried about provoking Thousand Eyes, but I'm not afraid, so I started to qualify early. As for the auction house after that, and the hiring of people to attack Nameless, it is a simple coincidence. Bei Ayasha sneered. That's really clever. It's as if someone arranged it. Well, don't be angry. As if thinking of something, Lin Kei added on the side. After I beat Bolsius down, your wish can also be granted. Bei Ayasha raised his eyebrows. Our wish? What does she want? How did she herself not know? Have you forgotten? Just the day the auction was held. If I breach the contract, you will directly put Nameless on the list of discredited. To be honest, I can't eat well or sleep these days, and I've been worried about this. When I knock Bolsius down and help you fulfill this wish, I can also breathe a sigh of relief. Shirayasha, girlish. Bolsius, ignoring some of Lin Kei's nonsense, Bei Ayasha accurately caught the key words. Thinking about it carefully, Lin Kei also said that day not to let her regret it. A girl who can make her regret meeting and is still in. Bolsius hissed Tilda. As if thinking of something, Bei Ayasha's gaze towards Lin Kei was full of surprise. Wait, you kid is targeting Bolsius like this. It shouldn't be the idea of beating Argel. No way. Who makes me kind? Lin Kei sighed. The thought of a beautiful girl being framed and sealed in a prison to suffer. I feel uncomfortable and want to help the other party. Almost. Bei Ayasha glanced at him with disdain. Other people's words are 9 points true and 1 point false. You are directly 9 points false and 1 point true. Lin Kei is not kind, and Arja is not framed. In her opinion, Adka, Jia will be reduced to such a point, basically doing it all by himself. If you have to say which sentence is not deceptive, it is probably only the beautiful girl. Read violent novels, just go to Fellow Fiction Network. Although that guy is a stinky fart, his appearance is indeed online. His gaze withdrew from Lin Kei, and Bei Ayasha looked at the brightly lit Bolsius, not far away. We finally understand why you're doing it. After being attacked first, Bolsius was the one who deserved the loss. At this time, Lin Kei launched a challenge through the legendary gift game again, defeating Bolsius, and getting everything from the other party, which was completely reasonable. Even if others wanted to intervene and take back Arja's possession, there was no formal reason. But since you want to hit Arjel's idea, then you should also understand what this cares about. The unhappiness after being calculated was completely left behind, and after realizing Lin Kei's true purpose, Bei Ayasha's expression became serious for the first time. The enemies that Arja provokes are not as simple as 1 or 2. It's been okay all these years because the person holding her is Liu O's idiot. If the holder changes, you will definitely enter the eyes of those people. Come in, go in. What is there to be afraid of? Lin Kuo-sun shrugged. I usually don't like to do it, and it doesn't mean that I can't do it. In this 2-figure box court that will not be easily shot, he really has nothing to fear. I really can't beat it. It's a big deal to find a place to hide for a few years, and then come back to take revenge. Airplanes tilde. The space fluctuated quietly, and a gift game contract book floated down from Lin Kei's side. It's pretty fast. This is a signal that the bounty game has officially begun, indicating that Bolsius has completed its preparations. Lin Kei turned around and looked at Bolsius with Bei Ayasha. What are you going to do to end this farce? Of course, although the process of preparation took quite a bit of time, but ending this game of bounty is not difficult. Boom. The overwhelming momentum was like a volcano erupting, bursting out from Lin Kei's body. The clouds in the air were dispersed, and the ground began to shake constantly. The magnificent and huge palaces in the territory of Bolsius constantly produced cracks. The terrifying momentum turned into a monstrous wave, and in an instant, it completely engulfed the Bolsius in front of him. Chapter 060. What happened? The uppermost floor of the palace, without any ceiling, resembles the area of the Hippodrome. Liu O's, who was sitting on the ground, covered his head and looked around a little confused. Just now, an invisible shockwave suddenly rushed from far side. Without even having a chance to react, his whole person flew out. When God comes back again, it is already now. I just passed out? No, it should just be that the brain was mentally attacked and temporarily blank for a few seconds. Remembering what had just happened a little, Luo's turned his head to look at the stairs leading to the lower part of the palace. The voices outside all disappeared, and the group of waste was wiped out before it lasted. Hey, in the end, I still have to do it myself. You're so confident. Obviously, your own performance is quite pulled, no better than those of your subordinates. Lin Kei's voice suddenly came from behind, startling Luo's, who was sitting on the ground. He quickly got up and looked back at the highest part of the arena. I saw that in the dark night sky, a figure was walking towards him with slow steps. You can even fly? Luo's frowned, and reacted instantly. Yes, you are a pure-blood dragon species. Although facing one of the 3 strongest species of the box court alone, Luo's did not feel flustered. The reason is also very simple. He has an ace in his hand that is not inferior to the other party. Grasping the snake-haired banshee pendant around his neck, he jerked up to summon their presence within. Come out. Boom. If you don't summon Arjun out in advance, you have to wait until I am in front of you to prepare. Stepping on Luo's back, Lin Kei played with a snake-haired banshee pendant that he took in his hand. It should be said that he is a waste king out of 10,000, and he can always make unexpected moves. I'm not a waste. Good, good. You are not a waste. You are the wrong head. Lin Kei half squatted down, reached out and pulled out the gift card in Luo's hand, and then put his fingers in front of the other party's forehead in a gesture of flicking his head. I laugh at your Bolsius's property. Bang. Lin Kei raised his eyebrows. Only 10 o'clock. It is also a 5-digit community, and this value is really low and somewhat unexpected to him. However, when you think of the overall specifications of the box court, and the number of points that the box court has benchmarked against a little world prestige, this value seems very reasonable. I just don't know how much of these 10 world prestige points are accounted for by Arjul's seal holding. Glancing thoughtfully at the pendant in his hand, Lin Kei put it away temporarily. It seems that you still have to find 4 figures to start. What 4 digits? Hakayasha's voice sounded behind him. This side of Borsius has just ended. You won't be in trouble again. How is that possible? Lin Kei spread out his hands and replied with an innocent face. I am a good citizen, and I will not take the initiative to make a move. I hope you can do what you say. Ayasha took a deep look at Lin Kei. This time, she didn't stare at Lin Kei, plus Luo's to do some illegal operations, so she temporarily revealed it. Next time, not necessarily. By the way, isn't it time for you kid to pay back? As if thinking of something, Ayasha suddenly stretched out his small hand and gestured towards Lin Kei. Before looking at our relationship, I agreed to lend you a godhead. Now that you have Bolsius's property, you should pay it back. It's good to say, when I sort out my income in the next few days, I will send someone to send it to you. Lin Kei gestured. As I said before, repay the money at twice the price of the normal purchase of the godhead, and I promise to help you rush a large amount of performance. Just remember it. Ayasha thought for a while, and picked up Luo's, who was unconscious at Lin Kei's feet. This guy is also considered to be the person on their Olympus side. I will take it first. Lin Kei waved his hand, casual. Anyway, he was not prepared to really kill the other party. Read violent novels, just go to Fellow Fiction Network. It was almost enough to take something. If you kill it, it will not only offend the Olympus side, but also leave a bad impression on the side of Shirayasha. Ask for flowers. Luo's life is not so valuable. Letitia. The vampire light came out of the shadows. What's the matter, master? I'll leave this side to you. Lin Kei gestured to the next 4 weeks. Take advantage of the news before it gets out, and put all the property of Bolsius in order as soon as possible. Letitia nodded. I see. Then I'll leave it to you. Lin Kei patted Letitia's head, and then directly turned into a palm cabinet and left. I'll go back to sleep first. Sleeping is naturally impossible. Leaving from Bolsius's side, Lin Kei looked at the Arja seal in his hand. The seals are all in hand. How can you go first and tease the other party again? However, before Lin Kei could enter the seal, the prompt sound of the chat group suddenly sounded in his ears. Notice, the total number of points of group members has been detected to exceed 1 million, and the chat group level has been increased, unlocking the new function Group Mall. Chat groups unlock new features. Lin Kei's attention suddenly fell on the chat group. The mall sounds pretty good. Just by looking at the name of this unlock condition and function, Lin Kei could determine that it was a place that needed to consume a lot of points. For Lin Kei, this is good news. In today's chat groups, there are only several channels for consuming points. To strengthen physical fitness, he does not need it. Traveling through the world of group members, he gives a discount. To learn new skills, unless he is lazy to think, Lin Kei basically can't use it. Strengthen items. Nothing is better than his body. The biggest function is to strengthen a special effect equipment. In general, Lin Kei currently has no channels to spend points. Thanks to him, He used more and more points. After obtaining the 10 world points of the box court, he even reached the horror level of 113W, and single-handedly opened a new function of chat group. For Lin K, multiple places to spend money are not a bad thing. If you are not afraid of no money, you are afraid that there will be no place to spend it. Lin K, who was curious about what the group mall was going to sell, temporarily hung Argyl's seal around his neck and opened the chat group to check it. In Chapter 061, there aren't a lot of messages in chat groups, although they often blow water and chat on weekdays. Asuna and the others who love to talk in the group today seem to have some personal matters. For example, Ace, Lan Ran, who don't talk much or like diving, naturally will not take the initiative to show their heads. It wasn't until Lin K's group announcement sounded that the chat group became active again. Van Masterman, Avenger, Furniture City Master, Thief Cat, 100W points. Kenji, that's a lot. Benzina, looking at my 4-digit points, I left tears of envy. Miss Kaguya, abominable. Is this 000 the gap of the world level? The points I have worked hard to brush for so long are not as good as Lin K's fraction. After joining the chat group, she has been strengthening herself with points. With the influence of the Four Palace family, he worked hard to continuously improve his status and successfully brushed more than 200 points of world prestige. But the world she lives in is just an ordinary everyday world. A little world prestige is only 4 points, and the real group is the last one. More than 200 stores of world prestige, that is, 800 or 900 points, which is pitiful. Benzina, speaking of which, Lin K said a while ago that he was doing something, so this is what he was referring to. Furniture City Master, 5-digit community, what level is this in the world of forest? Administrators? Fanma Blade Tooth, I have the impression that Mr. Lin said that the box court is divided according to the outer door, which is 1 digit to 7 digits, and 5 digits should be the middle and lower levels. Hairspray Hand, if you are just in the middle and lower, you should not be able to gain 10 world reputation in a world where you can get 100,000 points for a little world reputation. Ghost Killer Team Flowerpillar, that is, the defeated Borsius is not an ordinary 5-digit community. Hairspray Hand, that's pretty much it. Speaking of this, Lan Ran also had a further understanding of Lin K's strength. And Lin K said before that the community he is in now is a small community that is in ruins and is still developing. Since it does not rely on forces to win, it naturally depends on its own strength. Notice, the total number of points of group members has been detected to exceed 1 million, and the chat group level has been increased, unlocking the new function Group Mall. Benzina, unlock new features. Thief Cat, total number of points unlocked over 1 million. I seem to have only contributed a share of 10,000 points. A large part of this was later, under the persuasion of Lin K, she took a senior position in their world government and earned points from world prestige. Miss Kaguya, you have a lot, and my share is only more than 2,000. Fanma Blade Tooth, I'm about 5 or 6,000. Benzina, why are your points suddenly so high? Am I the only one who hasn't brushed the world's prestige? Furniture City Master, I didn't brush it either. He doesn't know why in this world, and the level is inexplicably high. A little world prestige can be exchanged for 1,500 points, and Jackie Chan, who thinks he is just an ordinary person, does not dare to act at will. Ghost Killer Team Flowerpillar, I didn't brush it either. Avenger, I didn't brush either. Hairspray Hand, I didn't brush either. Read violent novels, go on Fellow Fiction Network. Looking at his inventory of tens of thousands of points, Lan Ran silently nodded. +1. Hairspray Hand, in fact, there is no need to talk about this. The points of Lin K's administrator alone have exceeded 1 million. Aquaman, that's right. It's enough for me alone. Aquaman, don't continue to compare, just envy my points. Benzina, abominable dog. Avenger, abominable dog. Miss Kaguya, abominable dog. Furniture City Master, everyone calm down. Let's take a look at the newly unlocked functions first. Benzina, nothing to see, I just unlocked it and went in to read it. I can't afford to consume 0. Miss Kaguya, indeed, cheap things are not needed, and things that are needed are not cheap. Hey Iwang, all members. The administrator's friendship loan service is hot. Seeking, up to 1 million points inventory is at your disposal. You only need to repay double the points within a month. You can come to me at any time to borrow. Laughs. Fanma Blade Teeth. Furniture City Master. Isn't this interest rate a bit high? Miss Kaguya, it's not only a little high, the monthly interest rate is 100, and the usury is not. Black in your heart. Benzina, friendship loan, X. The oppression of capitalists. Avenger, who borrows? Who is a fool? Jianji, don't borrow. In the face of Lin K's lack of sincerity, obviously to show off his points, a wave of verbal criticism once again set off in the chat group. And taking advantage of this time, Lin K also opened the Group Mall function that he had just unlocked and looked at the specific introduction. Group Mall, follow the world to which the group members belong, and unlock all the items in the corresponding world for sale. Note, When the world reputation of other worlds reaches 300 points/700 points/1000 points in turn, the first stage, second stage, full version of the shopping mall of that world can be unlocked. Lin Kei's face showed a thoughtful look. According to the different worlds 2.8, the unlocked mall is also different. As a mega world, Box Court World is definitely the top world. Unlocking the mall of the Box Court World is obviously more profitable than unlocking the mall of other worlds. Crossing the introduction page, Lin Zhao entered the mall, and a total of 3 options appeared. They are the mall of Box Court World, the mall of One Piece World, and the mall of Ghost Slayer World. The latter two, Lin Kei didn't even look at it, so he directly crossed over and clicked the first one. In the next instant, a very conspicuous product caught his attention. The Identity of the Final Trial of Mankind. Chapter 062. The Identity of the Final Trial of Mankind. Product Introduction. According to the buyer's own situation, tailor the identity of a human final trial. This identity appears in the unfinished history of mankind, the unobservable realm. Depending on the background of the customized status, the purchaser will receive different levels of benefits. Commodity price. 300 million group points. That's a bit awesome. After silently reading the introduction of the goods, Lin Kei couldn't help but sigh. This chat group is finally a little useful. Tailor the identity of humanity's ultimate trial. This one commodity alone gave Lin Kei enough motivation to brush points. It didn't matter what benefits he would get. He was looking for that result. An unexpected trial for a new human being that the gods of the Box Court did not expect. Once this happens, whether it is those famous strong people on the bright side or mice hiding in secret, they will definitely be dumbfounded. Just thinking of that picture, Lin Kei couldn't help but want to laugh out loud. 1 million points is still a bit less, and working hard is king. 03. Looking away from there, Identity of the Final Human Trial, Lin Kei looked at the other items in the mall. In fact, the good things in the Box Court Mall do not only have one Identity of the Final Trial of Mankind, like simulating the star creation map. The identities of the 3 strongest gods, pure blood, dragon species, and star spirits in the Box Court are also within the scope of sale, but without exception. These things need to be very expensive. Of course, the reason for the high price, Lin Kei can also understand. If the price is not expensive, it will seem strange. In fact, in addition to these props that ascended to the sky step by step, Lin Kei also saw a special commodity that could be developed step by step. 1 year linger? The effect is just like its name, and after purchase, its own linger will increase the total amount for 1 year. But there's no interest in buying. After spending a few minutes to go through the list of goods, Lin Kei's gaze moved back to their top. Or is it? The Identity of the Final Trial of Mankind. That is cooler. 300 million points. This price is indeed not low. But as long as you work hard, it is not completely without opportunities. It would be nice to have a few more new members in the group. There are still too many strong people on this side of the Box Court. Even if Lin Kei is confident in his strength, he does not dare to really mess around. Otherwise, it will definitely be as angry as Argyl's previous experience and be besieged by a large crowd. Compared with the Box Court, the world of other people in the group is much simpler. Not only is the time short, the difficulty is about equal to 0, but you can also experience their thrill of a full-level boss bullying Zenman. For example, in the One Piece world where Nami is located, he can easily swipe a 10 watts point with his fingers. The almost ghost destruction world can also squeeze out a 4 watts point at will. When added up, these revenues are also a significant share. At that time, he will start work on the double line of the Box Court, and he will be able to scrape together 300 million points in a short time. Ding. Passerby heroine joins the chat group. Ding. The Ice Queen joins the chat. Well, is it so coincidental? Hearing the prompt in his ear, Lin Kei, who was just thinking about when the newcomer would come, was stunned and looked over. Benzina, new people are here. Welcome. Read violent novels, go on fellow fiction network, fan marblade teeth. Welcome. Furniture City Master. Welcome. Passerby heroine. That. What is it? It suddenly appeared in my head. Ice Queen. Interesting. Does the northern alien race still have this type of imperial tool, which can interfere with my spirit? Benzina. It seems that there is a misunderstanding of new people. This is the 10,000 Worlds chat group, a place that connects various worlds and can make everyone's communication stronger. Fan marblade tooth. If you don't believe it, you can sign in first and strengthen yourself with group points. Passerby heroine. Oh, I looked and found it. Miss Kaguya, is it all over 60? The luck of the 2 newcomers this time is good. Passerby heroine. Huh? My power has really become stronger. On the downhill home from school, Megumi Kato had a look of surprise on her face. Her physical fitness is only the level of an ordinary person, and after smashing down more than 60 points, the improvement can be said to be visible to the naked eye. Cool. At this moment, a strong wind blew through, blowing the white ray shell hat above her head away. Subconsciously, Megumi Kato took a step forward and directly grabbed his hat back. Passerby heroine, although I don't quite understand what happened, it seems to be a good thing. Megumi Kato, who had just experienced a wave of benefits after strengthening, silently nodded. I like Ice Queen, interesting. This is the first time I have encountered such a real illusion. On the other hand, even if he has been strengthened by points, Est still believes that this is their effect of Imperial tools. Fanmar bladed his teeth. This newcomer is so stubborn. Benzina, yes, in the past, everyone basically strengthened it with points, and they directly believed it. Hairspray hand, it's normal, the stronger the person in his own world. 567, the more he will be suspicious of the existence of chat groups. Like when he first joined the chat group, he did countless inquiries about this. In the end, it was also because there was no other means of exploration that I temporarily chose to believe. Fanmar bladed his teeth. How do you feel that Mr. Lanran knows very well, you should not actually be a big guy? Hairspray hand, I'm just an ordinary person who likes to talk on paper and knows a little more about theory. Aquaman, really? Then next time I will go to your world to wander around and see if you are an ordinary person. In the case of the Grim Reaper world, the world level should not be low, and it is also a good place to brush points. Hairspray hand, since the administrator Lin K is coming, then I naturally welcome it. Ice Queen, to other worlds? Benzina, yes, as I said before, a chat group is a special place that connects various worlds, and as long as you are willing to pay a certain amount of points, you can go to the world where their group members are. Ice Queen, interesting, I changed my mind. Ice Queen, it's easy to make me believe, you sent someone to my side to defeat me. Ice Queen, as long as you can prove that you are better than me, then I will believe what you say. Furniture City Master, I don't know why, suddenly I have a sense of déjà vu that you have their ability to come along the network cable and hit me. Benzina, indeed. Chapter 063. Due to Lin K's usual style of acting in the past, the atmosphere in the chat group was generally relatively peaceful. After a few simple complaints, everyone ignored each other's provocation and began to persuade Jianji. Fighting is not good. Furniture City Master, that's right, it's rare to gather here, everyone has to get along well. Avenger, agree, all in a group, there is no need to score a high or low. Ice Queen, get along? No need to divide the high and low? What a weak thought. Ice Queen, the law of the jungle. This is the essence of this world. Ice Queen, weak, you will only be bullied by others, and you will be taken away at will. After a familiar wave of proclaiming his own beliefs, veteran social Darwinists again defiantly said, Ice Queen, I don't want to listen to your weak speeches, shut up. Ice Queen, since it claims to be a special place that connects various worlds, there must be strong people. Ice Queen, stop hiding. I want to convince me that this is not an illusion made by Emperor Gu. Then stand up and beat me. Synchron, it's really stubborn. Hairspray hand, it seems that it is impossible to communicate through words. Thief Cat, what do you say? Aquaman, although Ists has just joined the chat group, you can tell from the name of the other party's group that this guy is not an ordinary person. In the absence of knowledge of intelligence from all sides, there are naturally risks in fighting with the other side in the past. If you have to fight, it is better to see the opinion of the strongest in the group. Aquaman, fight? Yes, but if you lose, you will have to pay a little price to become the Ice Queen. The first sentence of the group shouted the Emperor, and then chanted about battle, the law of the jungle and whatnot, and the name of his own group was also called the Ice Queen. Obviously, this Ice Queen is Estes of the chopping world. As a real ceiling in the chopping world, Estes' strength is indeed not simple. It can be seen just that in the original work of the other party, one person against more than 10 imperial envoys and a million-strong army has not fallen behind, and even once had their advantage. Even if the other party is placed in the box court, it is a top 6-figure, even comparable to some 5-figure powerhouses. The other party wanted to fight, Lin K naturally didn't mind going over to play, and brushed the points by the way. Ice Queen, oh, finally, someone is willing to fight, and it seems that it is not all cowards. On the other side, Estes, who had just entered the group and did not know Lin K's strength, naturally did not provoke. Ice Queen, it doesn't matter what the price is, as long as you can defeat me, you can take everything from me. Aquaman, since you said so, then I will pass. That being said, Lin K did not set off immediately. As a person who keeps his promise, since he and Black Rabbit have agreed to leave a message the next time they go out to play, it is natural to do what he says. After writing the letter and leaving a message, Lin K took out a flying sword with a cradle hanging from it. This is an auxiliary gift that he prepared to prevent the sudden need to go out when he wandered outside, tracking flying sword, that he learned the lesson of the last time he went to the ghost-destroying world. As long as it is set up and activated in advance, the tracking flying sword will automatically advance towards the object that needs to be tracked. Lin K did not let him track the Black Rabbit in the other outer doors, but chose Letizia, who was not far away. Done. Watching the tracking flying sword leave, Lin K turned on the group crossing function and determined the teleportation location as the chopping world. Reminder, group members carry special life forms on them, and continuing to teleport will cost double points. Special life forms. An unexpected prompt sounded, which made Lin K stunned. After a little thought, his gaze looked at the snake-haired Banshee pendant on his chest, and finally remembered the existence of Argyle. Almost forgot about you. The unlocking of new features, as well as the provocative speech of Ists as soon as he joined the group, disrupted Lin K's original arrangement. He was just going to take a look at the new features unlocked in the group, so he went into their seal to find Argyle to play. Read violent novels, just go to Fellow Fiction Network. Now, I can only go to the side of the Chopkai world first, and brush the points by the way. Reaching out and picking up Argyle's seal twice, Lin K pressed the OK button again. It is more reliable to give this thing to someone else, whether he is not a tease, or to carry it with himself. As for the question of double points, Lin K glanced at his 113 W points, looked at his 300 million target, and chose to ignore it. Chop the world. Inside the Northern Expedition camp of the Imperial Army, Estes, dressed in military uniform, lifted the curtain of the main tent and walked out of it. Goose-feathered snowflakes slowly fall from the sky, and the cold wind whistles from there. Whistle. A strong man in another world. I don't know if he can survive a few moves of me. Walking on the white snow, Estes headed in the direction outside the camp. Lord Estes? Li Hua, who happened to be passing by the gate of the camp, saw her and greeted her as soon as possible. It's almost dinner time. Where are you going? Find a good place to fight. According to those in the chat group, Lin K, who came through the teleportation function, would come directly to her. The camp is full of her subordinates, and naturally you can't fight here, so you can only go out and find a place. Fighting? On the other side, hearing Estes's headless speech, Lever immediately wanted to be crooked. Li Zhao, did you say the alien race in the north is preparing to attack? Lord Estes, have you received the news and are ready to solve it alone? The alien side of the north has not moved for the time being. Estes looked at Lever. As for the fight, I said, it is to fight with the powerhouses of the other world. Lever, it is clear that every word can be understood. Why is it completely incomprehensible after connecting? You don't need to know much. After all, even Estes didn't fully believe what the chat group and Asuna said. If you're curious, follow along. Don't bother so much. Just as Estes was about to continue his departure, Lin K's voice came from the front. Let's do it here. Quick fix. Chapter 064. Who? Hearing an unfamiliar voice, Lever, who was beside Estes, instantly made a fighting posture and looked at Lin K, who suddenly appeared not far away. You are not from the Imperial Army. All those who have some strength or fame in the army, Li Hua has in mind. But for Lin K's face, he had no impression at all. Did you say, is it a northern alien? Chiodian. That's right. That's right. I'm the killer sent by the alien race in the north. Lin K raised his index finger and ticked towards Estes, making a defiant gesture. If you don't want to die, just give it your all. HMPH. Be on one's high horse. Li Hua snorted coldly and raised his right hand to aim at Lin K. Lord Estes, you don't need to make a move. This guy will be handed over. Bang tilde. Before the words fell, Lever's body flew into the air first. The terrifying power penetrated his body, and unprecedented pain spread all over his body in an instant. Without even hitting the ground, Lever lost consciousness in midair and fell into a coma. This is your subordinate. Seeing that Do 220 didn't look at Lever, Lin K, who looked at Estes the whole time, raised his eyebrows, and his face showed a playful look. My assessment is average. Interesting. Estes's face showed an excited expression. She didn't believe Lin K's nonsense like Lever. After all, the first sentence of the other party's appearance has already indicated his identity. No wonder among those cowards. Only you dare to respond to me. It's really not simple. With Lever's instant defeat, Estes' fighting spirit rose instead. No, it's better for you to strike first. Lin K gestured to Li Hua, who was not far away. After all, I came at your invitation, and it's not good to knock you unconscious at once. Swoosh. In the face of Lin K's provocation, Estes did not hesitate. In the blink of an eye, he came to Lin K's face, and the tip of the sword stabbed towards Lin K's right eye. It's too slow, and it's too small. Raising a finger to block this assault, Lin K's finger bent down slightly. The tough sword body that has undergone thousands of temperings breaks in an instant. Did you not eat? Adch, it's just an appetizer. Estes stepped on the ground and his body retreated. The cold chi gathered wildly, and several huge icicles formed close to his face, smashing towards Lin K. Boom, boom, boom. Was it successful? Of course not. Boom. The icicles all shattered in an instant, and a raging airflow blasted towards Estes. So fast, the pupils contracted violently, and Estes quickly summoned more than a dozen ice walls in front of him. But in the face of that raging airflow, it has no effect. One after another, the solid ice walls were shattered, and invisible waves of chi came to Estes in the blink of an eye, and blasted it out. Can it work, Estes? Lin K walked towards her leisurely. The group is so cheerful, shouldn't it only have this strength? Benzina, Sure enough, Lin K is still stronger. Synchron. In fact, the newcomer is also very strong, and he can launch that kind of attack with a wave of his hand, just like a monster. Ghost Killer Team Flowerpillar. Indeed, she is also playing with ice, and the upper string 2 I met last time is like a child in front of her. Furniture City Master. I saw the trust was so confident, and I was a little worried about Lin K's administrator. But fortunately I didn't overturn. Benzina. Uncle Long, it seems that you still know too little about Lin K. Jianji. Newcomer, not Lin K's opponent. Read violent novels, go on fellow fiction network. Estes' strength is indeed very strong, and Ace can feel a terrifying sense of oppression from the other party across the screen. But just like that, it was impossible to defeat Lin K. Ghost Killer Team Flowerpillar. Guess what? How many tricks can newcomers still do with Lin? Thief Cat. Let's see if Lin K wants to play himself. Hairspray Hands. If you hit normally, 1 move. Ice Queen, 1 move. Then you guys are optimistic. Accidentally noticed the message in the chat group, and Estes, who was once again sent flying, stood up again. Looking at Lin K, who was standing in front of her and did not continue to attack, she spoke loudly. I have to admit that your strength is indeed very strong. But I still have one last trick that is useless. As long as you can take this move, I will admit your victory. It's really tough. Fingers twirling the military cap taken from the top of Estes' head, Lin K scoffed. Let's not talk about whether your so-called last move is useful. Are you sure you have a chance to open a real battle? That's just that I didn't want to use it. Estes insisted on his opinion. I don't need any preparation time. As long as I have this idea, I can release it instantly. Good, good. Then you come. Lin K backhanded the military hat and rebuttoned it on the top of Estes' head. I like to abuse vegetables the most, so use your so-called last trick to hit me in the face. As you wish. After being beaten and flying around, Estes' tone was no longer as arrogant as it was before. The battle began. Look, this is my trick, which can freeze time and space together. Estes' body suddenly erupted with an unprecedented cold breath. Mokabatimo. The crisp sound of freezing sounded, and the whole world turned ice blue in an instant. The whistling of the cold wind disappeared, and the falling snowflakes stopped in the air like oil paintings. It worked. Estes exhaled deeply, his face showing weariness. In fact, she had indeed been hard-mouthed before. Under normal circumstances, it takes about one's preparation time to release this trick. But for the sake of his own face, Estes forced that he could be released in an instant. Fortunately, surrounded by this strong sense of crisis, her potential seems to have been stimulated, and the charging time has been shortened to 0.1s. In her opinion, this is no different from an instant release. Looking at Lin K, who was standing motionless in front of her, the corners of her mouth rose slightly, and a smile appeared on her face. It seems that I won this battle. Although the winner was decided after the battle just now, Estes still agreed to the existence of the chat group. In her opinion, the existence of Lin K crushing her in all aspects can only be explained by their reason that the strong of the other world. In order to achieve sustainable development, a steady stream of fighting with the strong, Estes rarely did not hurt the killer or mend the knife. Silently tidying up the crooked military hat on his head, Estes walked behind Lin K, ready to wait for the time to stop and shoot back while the other party was shocked. But just when Estes had just taken a few steps and was about to cross Lin K, a palm suddenly pressed on her shoulder and stopped her. You're halfway through the fight and suddenly ready to escape. Chapter 065. How is it possible? Looking at Lin K, who stopped him on the side in amazement, Estes' face showed a look of disbelief. Why are you okay? Lin K asked rhetorically. Why am I in trouble? I obviously launched the Mokabaitumo. Estes had an incomprehensible expression. There is no such thing as avoiding at this distance. You, high fantasy time ends here. Lin K put his finger in front of Estes' lips, interrupting her speech. Let's not talk about the question of whether you can avoid it. You seem to be too confident in your own unique moves. Your so-called Makotan is essentially freezing the surrounding objects with a very low cold current. If you want to fight, the easiest way is naturally to offset with the corresponding high temperature. In addition, you can actually block the cold current through special armor. Of course, I don't have to bother so much. Lin K raised his palm and knocked the air casually. Bang. As if glass had fallen to the ground, a crisp explosion sounded. The icy blue world disappeared, and the sound of the cold wind howling with the fall of snowflakes reappeared. See? Your cold current is too weak to freeze me at all, so I can move freely. It's as simple as that. My cold is too weak? Estes stood in place, looking skeptical. In fact, it's not just Estes. Benzina, this is a simple hammer of Endure. Do you want to see what you're talking about? JPG. Fanmar Blade Tooth, a blow that freezes space-time. This newcomer is really strong. Furniture City Master, fortunately, there is no such terrible among my enemies, otherwise I can't run away. Miss Kaguya, yes. Hairspray Hand, It's a pity. She ran into Lin Kei's administrator. Estes' strength is a good level even in Lan Ran's opinion. Even the large-scale blow that froze time and space, even he could not completely avoid it. At most he opened the distance in advance or placed hallucinations to induce the other party. If it weren't for Lin Kei, who could resist hard with his physical body, and even move freely like a nobody, Estes would at least not have lost so badly. I lost. On the other hand, after a brief silence, Estes finally accepted his defeat. As agreed, I am willing to believe in the existence of chat groups and pay a price. Hairspray hand. It turns out that as long as the status is enough, even if you defeat the groupmates, you can gain world prestige. Benzina. Hiss, I suddenly had a bold idea. Thief cat, I thought of it too. Miss Kaguya, Ice Queen, are you interested in cooperating? You pretend to lose to me, I will get a part of the points for you. Ice Queen, I only fight the strong, and if I want to gain that so-called world prestige, I will defeat me with dignity. Aquaman, you don't have to pay attention to the defeated generals. In fact, I can do the same thing. Furniture City Master, it won't be another exaggerated proposal like 100 monthly interest rate. Avenger, watch you perform. JPG, Aquaman, cough, I'm the most enthusiastic administrator in the group. How can you say that about me? Seeking, in short, I cut off all the high-level people in this world in a few moments and became the boss of this world myself. Seeking, a little world reputation in this world is worth 300 points. When the time comes, I will directly get you a high-ranking official position. Not to mention that you can get 400 reputation points in one breath. Dozens or 100 points is still no problem. These worlds also have at least 10,000 points, which is a lot of income for the rest of the group. Seeking, of course, if you want me to help, you need to pay me 100 million points. Rubbing hands. JPG. Miss Kaguya, that 50% heart weakness. Aquaman, yes. Benzina, huh? Really fake? I thought you would say 70% or something. In fact, even if it is 90%, she can accept it, as long as she can make the points through. The world return to the book. She has already earned. Read violent novels. Just go to Fellow Fiction Network. Aquaman, why do I want to be so high? They all say that I am the most enthusiastic administrator in the group. Why don't you believe it? I am sad. Benzina, my fault. This time I believed it. Aquaman, apologize but show your chest. Send me a photo in a private chat. Benzina, how can there be that kind of rule? Do you think I'm an idiot? Aquaman, SHH. You guy has no sincerity at all. Pointing. 0 Ask for flowers. Seeking, forget it. Let's not water the group first. I am ready to collect intelligence, and then open up the world of Aces. Aquaman, if you want to brush points, you can go to Nami's side first, and you can also get points as a Draco from the world conquest. Just turn around and call me my share. Benzina, yay, long live Lin Kei. Miss Kaguya, hooray +1. Now I can also experience the thrill of being taken to fly. Furniture City Master, with the point enhancement, you don't have to bother so much when facing Varan. Kenji, what is Draco? Thief cat, it is the collective name of the privileged class in my world, of course, that is already in the past. Now only Lin Kei or the person I appointed can be called Draco. If you want, you can ask me to sign up. Benzina, 1. Miss Kaguya, 1. Hairspray hands, 1. Have you always been like this? Glancing at the conversation of everyone in the chat group, Estes looked at Lin Kei in front of him. It's incomprehensible to be nice to others for no reason. How can it be said that there is no reason? Lin Kei shrugged. Haven't I already taken 50% of the points? 50% is too little. Although it has not been long since he joined the group, Estes, who is not stupid, has seen through many things. Even if you take more, they won't refuse. No need, I don't really pay that much attention to points. In fact, Lin Kei did not lie at this point. Something like points may seem important to others, but for Lin Kei, the biggest role of points is to travel to other worlds to play. If he hadn't suddenly opened a mall today, so that he had something he wanted to buy, he might have only meant to receive 2 or 3% of the remuneration at once. Okay, that's it. Interrupting the speech of a certain social Darwinist who still wanted to say something, Lin Kei got down to business. You should have seen what I just said. As my booty, isn't it time for you to show your attitude a little? Chapter 066, Position. Recalling what Lin Kei had just said, Estes' face showed a look of surprise. I have already lost. You are the winner. Like I said before, the winner can take everything from me. I won't stop what you want to do, and you can even help with your own hands. Lin Kei raised his eyebrows. Don't bother so much. You can help me run some legs to warm their bed. Although I came out to play this time, I was ready to stay here for a few more days to change my mood. But if you really let us do it, that's a month to start. Even if Lin Kei didn't care, the rabbit at home would probably be in a hurry. Speaking of which, that side is the territory of the alien race in the north, and it is also your goal to go north this time. As if thinking of something, Lin Kei raised his finger and pointed in the direction behind Estes. If you destroy them, you should be able to gain a lot of world prestige. Do you want it? Estes shook his head. No need. As a native of this world, she spends no time on this side. With her strength, it is only a matter of time before she brushes up the world's prestige, and there is no need to rush at all. If you want to brush the world's prestige, just do it. With your strength, it shouldn't take any strength to destroy those guys. Oh? You're generous. Lin Ke glanced at Ists with some surprise. As a traverser, he naturally knew that the relatives of the tribe where Ists belonged when he was a child were destroyed by the army of the alien race in the north. Since you gave up the opportunity, then I'm welcome. Lin Ke half squatted down, grabbed the snowflakes on the soles of his feet and skillfully rubbed them, pinching them into a snowball. He threw it twice, and Lin Ke, who felt that he felt good, nodded his head with satisfaction. Yes, it seems that my technology has not deteriorated. Of course, it's to make weapons. Lin Ke aimed slightly. There are still 2 more cities of foreign races in the north, and this direction should be able to string 2. Boom. The sound of the air explosion sounded, and a wave of air blew in front of him, blowing Estes' long blue hair high. Her eyes widened in surprise, looking at the snowball that disappeared into the sky. Before she could think about what this meant, 2 roars suddenly came from afar, and their ground shook violently. Eventually, the prompt of the chat group sounded in her ears. Okay, it's done. Lin Ke stretched his waist lazily. I worked hard to brush 720 world reputation points on their first day I came. It's really hard for me. As a bonus, I decided to give myself a day off. Estes, laborious hard work. Did you beat her around with one hand, and then pinched a snowball to destroy the northern aliens like a snowball fight? Looking at Lin Ke in front of him, Estes, who had never had a real feeling of his true strength before, had a preliminary understanding for the first time. Stop being in a daze. Let's go. Lin Ke waved his palm in front of her, and a meaningful smile appeared on his face. It's all said that it's a holiday, and you, as my booty, have to accompany me to have fun today. The Imperial Capital, the deepest part of the Imperial Palace. Read violent novels, just go to Fellow Fiction Network. Whoops tilde. What did you say? Not caring about the rice bowl that fell on the ground, Minister Ernest looked at the intelligence officer in front of him in disbelief. You repeat what you just said? There is news from General Estes that he has successfully eliminated the alien race in their north. At Ernest's request, the intelligence officer quickly repeated it. In addition, General Estes said that he would find you in a matter of urgency, and he would return to the Imperial Capital first tomorrow. Ernest, listening to the magical news in his ears, Ernest fell into a rare silence. There were so many questions that he didn't know which one to think about for a while. If he didn't have Alzheimer's, he remembered that Estes led the army to the north only half a month ago. Acting alone is not the same as leading an army, and it takes a lot of time to rush on the road. Aside from the rush time, Estes is now at war with the aliens of the north, and at most only a week has passed. In less than a week, kill the northern alien race? Although I know that Estes' strength is very strong, is this a bit too exaggerated? Estes should not be afraid that he is too boring. Casually send a message back to amuse him. What about our people? Did the news confirm it? Not yet. General Estes' news was sent back urgently through the special dangerous species. Although there are also our people in the army of the army Estes, it should be a little slower to pass the news back. What about time? It should be the day after tomorrow. It's a little slow. Ernest narrowed his eyes. That guy from Estes, he's coming back tomorrow. In half a month, the foreign race in the north was annihilated, and the news was spread that there was an emergency, and he would return to the Imperial Capital tomorrow to see him. If there are no ghosts, Ernest is designated not to believe. You'll have to prepare a backhand. 3.9. After pondering silently for a few seconds, Ernest seemed to think of something and suddenly asked. I remember that a few days ago, Sheila seemed to have received news that the tour had recently ended and had returned to the Empire to wander around. Yes, Lord Sheila is currently leading several of his subordinates who he knew when he traveled abroad to operate in the western part of the Empire. Ernest's face showed satisfaction. That's good. Sheila holds the Space Emperor tool, Shangri-La, in her hand. If the other party was there, even Estes would not be able to easily approach him. Pass the news and call Sheila back. Ernest ordered. If I don't see him tomorrow, you don't have to appear in front of me. Yes. Chapter 067. A day later, a night raid was made on the headquarters. Sitting in a chair in the conference room, Shitten looked at the news that had just come from her hand not long ago, and an incomprehensible expression appeared on her face. I don't know how long it took. The door of the conference room was suddenly pushed open, and Lene with beautiful blonde hair walked in from outside. Boss, I'm coming. Lene glanced at the red eyes that were sitting around the conference room, falling silent like Nejzatan, and his expression instantly became serious. Why is the atmosphere so heavy? Has something happened? Well, something did go wrong. Sighing silently, Shitten slammed the letter in her hand on the table and went straight to their point. Since everyone has arrived, then I will say it bluntly. Our plan to sneak into the Imperial Capital while fighting on the front line to clean up the pests in the Imperial Capital and help the front line share the pressure may be scrapped. Including the night raid, Everyone must be dispersed and reorganized and assigned to fight in other areas. Huh? Len A was stunned, and a confused expression appeared on his face. Oh 3, as one of the first old people to join the night raid, I knew very well how much effort Nage Shitten had put into organizing the night raid. It has only just been formed, and assassination has recently begun. It's only been more than half a month, and it's about to be disbanded. What the hell happened? Asts is coming back. Nage Shitten replied. This morning the spies planted by the Revolutionary Army in the north received news that the foreign races in the north were completely defeated, including the brave man of the northern alien race. The members of the northern alien race are almost wiped out. How is this possible? Lenai shouted out in disbelief. Didn't Ists just start a war with the northern aliens more than a week ago? That's right, just over a week ago. The expression on Nage Shitten's face became more and more tangled. That's why I am ready to disband the night attack and avoid direct contact with the other party after Ists returns to their imperial capital. But Nage Shitten shook her head. All the people installed in the northern alien race have disappeared, and the specific situation is still under investigation. But according to the messenger, the area near the northern alien race that day shook violently. For a moment, if nothing else, that is the cause of the total extinction of the alien race in the north. As for what caused it, it is still under investigation. It may be the secret hole card of the Empire, the rumored Supreme Emperor tool. It may also be that Esda's power has become stronger again, and the newly developed moves. The exact reason cannot be determined in a short period of time, and the only thing that is certain is that the Imperial side has become more tricky. Until the specific reason is clarified, staying near the Imperial capital at night will only increase the risk of annihilation for no reason. It is better to break it into pieces, first scatter and distribute to other areas to support the frontline troops, and then regroup them later to carry out assassinations. I agree with the idea. My words, just follow Nage Shitten. After Nage Shitten finished speaking, Brand and Lubbock made their attitude clear. Seeing this, the remaining few people also gave a response. Ma Yin, I don't care, as long as I can complete the goal. Kai pupil, it is indeed better to leave the Imperial capital temporarily and wait for the intelligence officers to investigate. Hill, that I obeyed. Lene, wouldn't it be good to retreat all, or should I stay and help collect intelligence? If you gather intelligence, I can also help. Seeing that Lenai had the intention of staying, Chipu also spoke. It is more convenient for two people to cooperate with each other. So be it. Nage Shitten patted the table and made a decision. Akatumi and Lenai stay together. Intelligence, and Lubbock and I will be the headquarters of the Revolutionary Army. Ma Yin, Hill, Brand, the three of you go to the southeast, southwest battlefields separately to help relieve the pressure on the front line. What about me? Next to Nage Shitten's body, a hand suddenly stretched out and waved twice in front of her. Read violent novels, just go to Fellow Fiction Network. May I ask Chief Nage Shitten, where is it better for me to go? Nage Shitten, counting her in the night raid, isn't there a total of 7 people? She probably didn't leave anyone behind. After subconsciously thinking about this question in her mind, Nage Shitten finally realized that something was wrong. Bang! The chair was violently knocked over, and Nage Shitten got up and threw her fist, striking at the unknown being beside her in one go. Calm down, don't get excited. Grabbing Nage Shitten's robotic arm, Lin K casually unloaded the front half of his robotic arm. A weak attack like yours is useless to me. This strength? Seeing that her attack was ineffective, Nage Shitten did not retreat rashly. Standing in front of Lin K, she glanced at the livid-faced Lubbock not far away, and asked, "Who are you?" "Of course I am me." Lin K shrugged. Who else could it be? Can the Riddler die? Nage Shitten took a deep breath and gestured towards Night Trader and the others who entered the battle not far away. Kai Hitumi, you don't have to move first. Although this one sneaked in, I can feel that 273 can tell that he has no malicious intentions. Sneak in, no malice. Lin K almost laughed. No wonder you can achieve this status, Chief Nage Shitten. You are really interesting to speak. Thanks for the compliment. Nage E asked again without changing her face. Then can you explain your purpose? Okay. Lin K stretched out his finger and pointed to several girls in the night attack. To put it simply, I fancy a few of you. Do you want to mess with me? Nage Shitten, you're looking for a wife here. Not really. Lin K joked. The bride price is too expensive. I have limited property, and I can only marry 1 or 2. But in that case, it would be too unfair to those who are not married, and I am more fraternal. So I simply don't get married. Since you don't get married, you naturally can't be called a wife. You. Nage Shitten's body froze, and her pupils contracted into needles. Can you hear my heart? It's not just yours. Grabbing the silk thread that spread all the way to his body against the ground, Lin K smiled and looked at Lubbock with his left hand behind his back. Like this person's heart, I can also hear it. Bang. Chapter 068. A loud crash, accompanied by Lubbock's screams, resounded in the night raid conference room. When everyone, including Kai pupil, reacted, Lubbock was already rolling under Lin K's feet, holding his stomach. To be honest, I didn't actually listen to it on purpose. Lin K raised his foot to help Lubbock turn over, and looked at the other party with a smile. But your heart voice is so strong that it naturally ran to my ears. Why would someone bypass my silk thread enchantment and enter the inside of the night attack? Question mark. Abominable. Just because of his own mistakes. He put the woman he liked in danger. Question mark. I'm right, Lubbock. Ahem. An unprecedented pain spread from his left arm to his whole body, and Lubbock seemed to want to say something, but in the end only coughed up a pool of blood. Lubbock? Question mark. Well, you don't have to be so miserable. Lin Kei looked at Najik on the side. Although I have no interest in men, he still has their ability. At least he can help run errands and miscellaneous when I am away. It's just a small punishment to make him understand the consequences of my attack, and it's still easy to save this life under the treatment of it. As for whether the left hand can still be used by then, that's another question. No matter how nice you say, it is still an undeniable fact that you made a move against our companions. At this moment, Brand, who had long been haunted by evil spirits, took a step forward and confronted Lin Kei. Say your true purpose, otherwise I can only do it. Alas, I hate dead brains. Bang. At this point, you still want to start with me. It seems that you still haven't understood the gap between our strengths. Standing where Brand was originally standing, Lin Kei's gaze swept over Ma Yin and the others on the side, and finally his gaze fell on Chippu. Want to try it? Cut me with your village rain. Red eyes. In the face of Lin Kei's provocation, Chippu did not make a rash move. His gaze swept over the shattered wall not far away, and after finding that Brand had not returned for a long time, a cold sweat flowed from the corner of his red eye. Before betraying the Empire, she met many powerful people, including Ists, whom Najik feared. But even the strongest of the Empire did not give her such a terrifying sense of oppression. Her intuition was telling her that the other party was not bluffing. Even if she swung the knife with all her strength, she might not be able to cut through Lin Kei's surface skin, but would anger the other party. But if he didn't do it, then the other companions might become Lin Kei's next target. The hand holding Morayu began to tremble slightly, and Chippu fell into a rare dilemma. Red eyes. Don't do it. At this moment, Najestan's voice came from the side. Although the time was short, she seemed to have engaged in a battle of thoughts, and their expression on her face was extremely complicated. We surrender. Not bad. It seems that it is still useful to deliberately leave you. Calmly withdrawing his palm, Lin Kei turned around and walked towards the exit not far away. Bring the wounded with you. Ists should be almost at the palace. Let's go and join her. Najestan, where to? With whom to meet? Imperial Palace. Welcome back, General Estes. Sitting on a throne in the center, the little emperor looked at Estes, who had just entered the hall in front of him. I have heard from the minister about your victory. Annihilating the northern alien race in less than half a month is really a huge achievement that has never been done before. As a reward, I am ready to reward you with 10,000 pulls of gold. Anything else do you want? Your Majesty, there is no need to worry about the reward in advance. Standing in the middle of the hall, Estes replied. In fact, there are some things I did not make clear in the letter about the annihilation of the alien races in the north. It's not me who did this. If you want to give a reward, it is better to give it to the right person. Didn't General Estes do it? The little emperor was stunned, and for a while he didn't know how to reply, and subconsciously looked at the minister Ernest next to him. Since you want to make a reward, you naturally have to give it to the right person. Read violent novels. Just go to Fellow Fiction Network. Ernest naturally picked up, listening to General Estes' tone. You seem to know the person who did this. Can you tell me who the other party is? I've already brought the other party. Estes replied as he asked, if you want to meet, Minister, you might as well let the other party in directly. Already brought? Silently glancing at Sheila standing behind him, Ernest suddenly laughed loudly, and his body full of fat shook. Ha ha ha. This is the backbone of the Empire. Since you have already brought it, of course you have to meet. Come man, go and bring the people that Generalists brings. No need to invite, I'm already here. Before Ernest finished speaking, several figures had already walked in leisurely from the main entrance first. It seems that I came just in time and was not late. You are goodly good, Najestan. Red eyes. Looking at the few people who walked in, Ernest who was halfway through the words, his eyes subconsciously crossed Lin Kei and looked at Najik and Chippu who followed behind him. These two people are too familiar to him. One is a former general of the Empire, and the other is a former race killer of the Empire. Especially Kai pupil, noticing the village reign that the other party carried, even the bold Ernest couldn't help but be shocked in his heart. Silently taking 2 steps back, he looked at Estesqua, who was standing in the middle of their hall. General Estes, what's going on? Why did the person you introduced suddenly break in with someone who betrayed the Empire? Estes silently looked at Lin Kei, and then replied truthfully, I don't know. Ernest. Chapter 069. You don't know? Looking at Estes, who didn't seem to be joking, Ernest twitched out of the corner of his eye. The person you brought, why don't you know anything? Because we parted halfway. Estes replied. Lin Kei said that he had something to leave for a while, and he would meet at the palace in the evening. Don't talk about the palace as your own home. Ernest, who felt his blood pressure come up, took a deep breath and finally looked at Lin Kei. You want to ask why I came here with a traitor? That's right. After a slight pause, Ernest, who was asked first, spoke. Since it is the person introduced by General Esdras, then I naturally trusted. But anyway, 2 of those people behind you betrayed the Empire. If you don't explain it clearly, your Majesty will not be able to explain it like others. That's right. Hearing Ernest's prompt, the little Emperor hurriedly spoke. This is called Lin Kei. Can you give a reason? Why would you be with the 2 of them? Lin Kei thought for a while. If the reason are the 2 of them my new subordinates. The little Emperor was stunned. This, I know 763, which makes it hard for you to accept. Lin Kei spread his hands. But your Majesty, you can rest assured, I promise that they will not betray again. Before the little Emperor could reply, a roar like thunder suddenly sounded. Under everyone's gaze, a tall figure with an arc of electricity on his body walked out from behind the little Emperor. It was General D, one of the 2 walls of the Empire. Hand them over. Otherwise, before B's words were finished, a palm suddenly appeared above his head and pressed downwards. Boom. To be honest, I hate people who don't talk by looking at the atmosphere. Pulling B's hair, Lin Kei lifted it up and shook it casually. Originally, I was quite interested, and I wanted to play a family game with you. Just because of your interruption, my interest suddenly went down. General B opened his mouth. You, forget it, let's do it directly. Burst tilde. A column of bright red blood rose from his neck, and General B's body fell violently to the ground. Throwing B's head, Lin Kei looked at the minister above and Sheila behind him. At the moment he killed General B, Sheila had already taken Shangri-La from his arms. A teleportation array with a gossip pattern appeared at the feet of the 2, blooming with dazzling light. But before the teleportation could start, the teleportation array of the gossip pattern suddenly disappeared, and the minister, who had already shown the expression of the rest of his life after the disaster, was stunned in place. What are you doing? After reacting, he instantly grabbed Sheila's collar on the side. Do you want to die? Teleport quickly. Don't embarrass him. Standing behind Ernest, Lin Kei replied while looking at the Shangri-La in his hand. Without the Imperial tool, even if he sacrifices himself to the sky, he will not be able to teleport you away. Ernest. After Lin Kei's reminder, Ernest finally noticed the Imperial tool in Sheila's hand, and I don't know when it had appeared in Lin Kei's hand. Cold sweat slipped from the corner of his forehead, and an unprecedented sense of fear welled up in his heart. It's over. I can't run away. Can't run away? Lin Kei raised his eyebrows. Minister Ernest, do you and your son Sheila want to go out for a run? It's not. Ernest, who didn't expect Lin Kei to know what he was thinking, was shocked, and quickly spoke. I mean, actually, well, I don't need to explain. I understand. When people are old, they always want to take time to exercise more. Lin Kei appeared in front of the palace with one left hand and one right hand, carrying Ernest and Sheila respectively. Since you want to exercise, then I will help you out. No thanks. Boom, boom. 2 gas explosions sounded, and Ernest and Sheila turned into 2 meteors and flew into the sky in different directions. Read violent novels, just go to Fellow Fiction Network. This. Not far away, Neji Hitten's eyes widened in surprise, looking at Lin Kei in confusion as he slaughtered 3 people in quick succession in just a few seconds. What happened? Isn't this guy with the Imperial side who specifically went to arrest them? How did one not pay attention? The other party slaughtered the famous General But, and also cleaned up the minister. As if her brain had gone down, Nage Satan stood motionless in place, suddenly feeling that their world was so strange. In fact, it's not just Nage Satan. Even the few people with red eyes standing beside her, as well as the ordinary civilian military attachés in the council hall, all fell into a state of death at this moment. Who am I? Where am I? What happened? A death-like silence spread in the hall, and everyone looked at Lin Kei in horror, for fear that this monster that did not seem to be normal in spirit would suddenly attack them. On the other side, under the attention of everyone, Lin Kei, who had solved the minister's father and son, turned round, slowly came to the little emperor, and patted his head with a smile. Your Majesty, I exterminated the foreign races in the north and helped you clean up the pests in the imperial court, which should be a great credit. The little emperor's voice began to tremble. It is indeed a great credit. Lin Kei nodded with satisfaction. Since it is a great merit, then there should be a reward, right? Then I want the position of your Majesty. Can I? The little emperor was stunned. Huh? Didn't you understand? Lin Kei pointed to himself and patiently repeated again. I want to be the emperor. Is it okay? But okay, very good, worthy of being a person who can become an emperor, and his heart is really broad. Lin Kei picked up the little emperor and put him aside, sat up on his butt, and clapped his hands to attract everyone's attention. Okay, aching, you can speak. As the new emperor, although Xuan's heart and mind are not necessarily higher than those of the previous emperor, his execution ability is definitely stronger than him. If you have any opinions, you can speak freely. Chapter 070. Speak one's mind. In the empty hall, the civil and military officials silently looked at the corpse of General not far away, and loaded up ostriches one after another. Whether they can speak freely they don't know, But this new emperor's execution is strong. That is true, Tilda. Unless they are crazy. No matter how iron-headed people are at this moment, they dare not take the initiative to speak. Alas, the Manchu dynasty was armed with a branch of the armed forces, and no one dared to speak. Seeing the silence below, Lin Ke sighed silently. To be honest, I am very disappointed in you. In that case, then Xu can only find someone to ask himself. Lin Ke's gaze looked into the lower right corner. There were 5 people he was familiar with. It's all malleable. Lin Ke silently sighed and stretched out his hand to signal to the others. That clown, and a few people next to him, come here. Yes, it's just a few of you. Don't look at it. The clown in this palace is dressed up except for your abnormal brain. How can there be a second person? Champ. The clown provoked you? Why is his brain not normal, huh? Lin Ke raised his eyebrows. I said that your brain is not normal. Nope. No. Shangpu came back to his senses, remembering that Lin Ke seemed to have the ability to eavesdrop on his heart, and quickly explained. I think your majesty is right. I do have a problem with my brain. Good. Lin Ke laughed. I don't want my subordinates with brain problems. You can go. Bang. When the words fell, Shangpu's body suddenly exploded, turning into pieces. Next up is you. After completing the shaping of the first malleable talent, Lin Ke looked at Chiaizo, who was dressed as a samurai. Do you think you're in the right head? Izang frowned and asked cautiously, Your Majesty, what is your definition of normal? Lin Ke shook his head slightly. I asked you questions, not to let you answer my questions with questions. Forget it. Judging by your performance, the IQ is estimated to be not high. Follow that clown on the road. Snap. Shape with Tibetan sauce. Lin Ke looked at Yang Xin, who was born as a pirate. It's your turn. Damn bastards. I don't think you want us to live. The moment Lin Ke's gaze passed, Yang Xin took out his Emperor Wind Blade sword and swung out several vacuum blades in the air. I'll fight with you. Presumptuous. Dare to commit the following offense. Deserve punishment. Boom. Yang Xin's shaping failed. Huh? Is it too heavy? Looking at the empty ground in front of him, Lin Ke's face showed regret. It's a pity. He still wants to play more. As a result, he accidentally used too much force, and Yang Xin and Dotia and Cosmia beside him also evaporated. Forget it. It's not a big problem anyway. These people must die. There was no reason, and the simple Lin Ke looked at them unfavorably. It's time to get down to business. After solving a few people in the Wild Hounds, Lin Ke's expression straightened slightly and became serious. The total world reputation is 1,000 points, and he has already brushed it up after subduing their night attack. For example, killing and becoming the Emperor of the Empire after that. Basically did it. Along the way, in addition to making it easier for other people in the chat group to come over, it is easier to swipe points, and then he gets the shares. More importantly, it is for the exploitable resources of this world. What is the most precious thing in the world of chopping? There is no doubt that there is only one answer. That's the Imperial Tool. Imperial Tools are the top special props created by the founding Emperor of the Empire in order to maintain a long-term rule, gathering the world's top craftsmen thousands of years ago. Each of these pieces has a very special effect and can bring a strong increase to the user. Read violent novels. Just go to Fellow Fiction Network. For example, the most representative of them, Esdras, can even obtain a 5-figure power with the help of Imperial Tools. Although this is only a special case, it can still be seen how much potential the Emperor has. The existence of at least 6 or 7 figures provides an increase in combat power. At present, there are 2 items that are unknown and are expected to be sold to the outside world. They can be used as the 3-color domineering method of the main cultivation method and their breathing method of secondary cultivation method. If you add Imperial Tools, it is just enough to make up for the problem of no gifts to sell. Thinking of this, Lin Ke looked at the civil and military officials below who did not even dare to take a breath, and slowly spoke. Xu is next ready to use the power of the entire empire to create Imperial Tools in large quantities. Your Majesty, this is impossible. Hearing Lin Ke's fantastical speech, Neji Yitan couldn't help but stand up. The founding emperor of 1,000 years ago was able to create Imperial Tools because he gathered the world's top craftsmen at that time. During the whole process, materials of super dangerous species and a large number of rare metals such as olihagang were used. But even with such a large amount of manpower and material resources, the other party has only forged 48 Imperial Tools. Not only do we not have the materials for forging, but the secret techniques used by their craftsmen to create Imperial Tools have also been lost in large quantities. Not to mention that it is a large-scale creation of Imperial Tools. I am afraid that even one Imperial Tool cannot be created. That's just what you think. Looking at Neji Yitan with a nervous face, Lin Ke replied, as long as the power of the entire empire is used, collecting some rare metals is not a problem at all. For the materials of the super dangerous species, you can send experts like us to hunt and collect, and if it doesn't work, I will take action. As for the biggest problem, that is the lost technology needed to create the Imperial Tool. Lin Ke opened the system mall, switched to the page of the chopping world that had only been unlocked not long ago, and exchanged the top item. Purchase the Imperial Tool building method. with a specific construction process of 48 existing Imperial tools. The points will be deducted. NW? The prompt of the chat group sounded in his ears, and a scroll appeared in Lin Kei's hand out of thin air. Raising the scroll in his hand, Lin Kei gestured to Neji below. See? The technology and even the process required to create Imperial tools are here. Lose. Chapter 071. This scroll records the technique of crafting Imperial tools. Hearing Lin Kei's speech, Neji's eye froze. It's impossible, right? Just wanted to open her mouth to question. Neji thought of the fate of the people who had just questioned Lin Kei, and subconsciously closed her mouth. Then, she smoothly thought about the fact that Lin Kei seemed to be able to hear his heart. Don't be nervous, Neji-tan. Seeing the other party's embarrassment, Lin Kei spoke. As long as your questioning is reasonable, Xu will naturally not kill you. As for whether the technology on this scroll is real, we only need to create the first piece. Naturally it can be proven, right? Neji nodded. You're right. Then this matter will be left to you. Lin 927 casually threw this scroll with 10 W points and threw it into Neji-tan's hands. In terms of materials, the Imperial warehouse should still have some inventory. Give you 3 days. You go and gather the blacksmiths in the Imperial capital and let them create the first Imperial tool. Yes, Neji replied, and then suddenly stunned. No. Is something wrong? As a traitor to the Empire, Lin Kei's captive, shouldn't she be locked up in the dungeon? Why did you suddenly take on such a big task? Come on. Stepping down from the throne, Lin Kei patted Neji-han's shoulder. I am optimistic about you. He went to touch the fish first, as the so-called secretary does something. After throwing the task of reproducing the Imperial tools to Neji-tan, as the head of the Empire, Lin Kei naturally enjoyed the benefits of being an emperor. Every day, directly call the night traders and ists to come over and perform high-intensity, happy music parties. 24 hours a day, at least 12 hours a day is spent bouncing happily, playing various musical instruments, and honking the horn continuously. Occasionally when I get tired of playing, I go out for a walk. Conveniently clean up the rats lurking in the depths of the Imperial capital, as well as the various forces that are eyeing the Imperial capital. In less than 3 days, the nobles in the Imperial capital were cleaned up by Lin Kei. As for the outside of the Imperial capital, Ning Dao in the east directly sent a letter of surrender the day after hearing about the drastic changes in the Imperial capital. The alien race and the revolutionary army in the south preferred to die unyielding, just like their foreign race in the north. They were directly destroyed by Lin Kei's long-range nuclear explosion. The kingdom in the west was successfully pocketed after Lin Kei casually slaughtered the king and showed off his muscles. 3 days later, the pattern of the world underwent earth-shattering drastic changes, and Lin Kei became a veritable world master without the slightest pressure. A large amount of wealth continued to be concentrated, and famous blacksmiths in various places were directly captured by Lin Kei to the Imperial capital. The progress of all aspects was progressing in tandem, which shocked Neji and further accelerated the speed of creating Imperial tools. On the third day, according to the process recorded on the scroll, Neji successfully produced the first Imperial tool. All things are cut off, extinguished. That's right, the big scissors that Hill used. Because there is an original version that can be referred to next to it, the materials required for this Imperial tool are relatively simple, and the production method is also medium and low. After thinking about it, Neji set it as the first Imperial tool to be created, and successfully built it. Your Majesty, this is the finished product. Handing Lin Kei the soul-destroying that had just been baked not long ago, Neji-tan's face showed emotion. It turns out that the technology recorded on the scroll you took out turned out to be true. With the results of this building, everyone in the Imperial capital is very optimistic about the large-scale creation of Imperial tools. Next, as long as enough materials are collected, the project can officially begin. Although she was working for Lin Kei, Neji was no longer so resistant. The reason is very simple. What Lin Kei has done in the past few days, Neji has heard about it. The eradication of the Moth aristocracy, the defeat of external hidden dangers. Although it was a pity for the revolutionary army, due to Lin Kei's action, the empire, which had already gone to extinction, miraculously ushered in a reversal. With the Imperial capital as the center, the eyes of the common people of the empire re-radiated vitality, and similar scenes were spreading outward. For Neji, who aspires to a good life for all, this is equivalent to fulfilling her dream zero. Since this is the case, helping Lin Kei to work is naturally no longer resistant. But just when Neji began to fantasize about a better life in the future, Lin Kei's voice suddenly sounded in her ears. Neji-tan, I'm almost leaving. Neji-tan, I know you're confused, but that's the truth. Lin Kei raised his finger and nodded on her forehead, passing the relevant information over. In the middle of a ring, Neji suddenly sighed, and her face showed a look of surprise. Read violent novels. Just go to Fellow Fiction Network, Another World, Box Court. No wonder your Majesty you appeared so suddenly, and your strength is so strong. Well, that's it in general. During my absence, You can continue to lead those craftsmen to build imperial tools. If you run into any trouble, you can go to us for help." Lin Kei gestured to the palace not far away. Although her personality is still like that, she has been temporarily subdued by me and will not mess around again. Nate Shitten nodded. "I see." Although the news came a little suddenly, Nate Shitten quickly accepted it after the shock. If you think about it, it looks bad that the Emperor has not been absent for a long time, but Lin Kei has not taken care of this guy. The recent twist and turn is also the transfer of personnel, and she is originally in charge of tidying up. Now that the hidden 5.9 disasters inside and outside the Empire have all disappeared, before the arrival of a new crisis, Lin Kei's presence and absence seem to have no impact. "Then I'll leave it to you." After putting the imperial tools he had just obtained into the gift card along with the mobile phone he had picked up before, Lin Kei patted Nage Hain's shoulder, as if he had spoken again. "3 days ago." "Come on, I'm optimistic about you." Nage Shitten was a little moved. "Your Majesty, Of course, it's actually okay if you don't work hard. Some people do it if you don't do it." Before Nage Shitten's words were finished, Lin Kei's voice came again. "When the time comes, I will just take the time to come back and change the manager, and it won't bother Nage-stan. Give back the touches she just made." Chapter 072, Box Court, Lower Level East, 2,105,380 Outer Gate. Phew, this is finally done. After signing his name on the last cooperation contract, the Black Rabbit collapsed forward, lying lazily on the table. "I'm exhausted." "Good work, Black Rabbit." Not far away, Letitia walked in with freshly brewed tea and poured a cup for the Black Rabbit. "Then you can rest for a while and wait for the return of the master." Speaking of which, it's been 3 days. The ears on the top of the Black Rabbit's head swayed from side to side, and a dissatisfied expression appeared on his face. Obviously he is the leader of the community. Why is Lin Kei always fooling around outside? Maybe it's too boring. Letitia guessed. Although the master is relatively stable, he is very jumpy in terms of personality. "Originally, when I was in the outside world, I couldn't do anything, so I finally came to the box court, and naturally wanted to run around and see. People can understand that." Black Rabbit sighed. But when he thought that he left so many troubles and disappeared, people were very angry. Defeating Bolsius is not the end, but a new beginning. Receives all the property of Bolsius, and communicates with the community that has previously cooperated with Bolsius. Hire people to manage the stores under the Bolsius umbrella to prevent certain business communities from taking advantage of the opportunity. Communicate with some of the communities that come to us and discuss cooperation. Normally, at least a small part of these things should be done by Lin Kei, the leader. For 2 days, she didn't close her eyes and kept running around. "Lord Letitia, I will leave it to you for the time being, and the people will go to rest." Yo Black Rabbit, with the 2 sisters with red eyes and black eyes, as well as Ma Yin, Lin Kei walked in from outside. "I'm back." "Have you ever been happy?" "How can you be happy?" The Black Rabbit stood up with a rub. "Why did you come back as soon as the people dealt with all the affairs?" She now had reason to suspect that Lin Kei was not actually hanging out. It was only after hiding somewhere near the station to see that her work was handled before she showed her head and came back. "Black Rabbit, you misunderstood me. Even if I'm in the community, I'm too lazy to care about these things." Although the Black Rabbit didn't say everything, Lin Kei, who could tell what she was thinking just by looking at the other party's expression, explained. "I have always been upright and never hidden." "Phew. That's true, too." Like a deflated balloon, the Black Rabbit's momentum fell back. If you think about it, usually when he is nameless, Lin Kei has not done anything serious. Every day is either basking in the sun and bullying the children in the community, or going out to shop and not doing business. In the case of no need to make a move, it seems that it does not matter whether it is with Lin Kei. Inexplicably, Black Rabbit resonates with Nage-stan, who is far away in another world. Speaking of which, these are the same as the Ganlu Temple, are the new companions brought back by Lin Kei. Adjusting his inner emotions, the Black Rabbit looked at the 3 people behind Lin Kei. They don't look like ordinary people in temperament. If you say a few of them, they used to be killers. "Huh? Killer?" The Black Rabbit was shocked. "Really fake?" "Of course it's true," Lin Kei replied. "Now Yuming is in a period of development, and the specifications of their community are constantly expanding. In order to prevent communities like Forsgrow from getting into trouble, I brought them back to take care of security together." "Well, security, that's true, too." Black Rabbit nodded approvingly. She heard about Bolsius and Forsgrow when she returned. Although she knew what Lin Kei had done in this matter, it was also a wake-up call for her. They are powerful and cannot be afraid of enemies, but those children in the community can't. Each of them may have a lot of potential, but it will take time to grow. Before you grow up, you really need to pay attention to security issues. "That's right, Lin Kei." As if thinking of something, Black Rabbit suddenly spoke. "I forgot to tell you something. Lord Shirayasha asked me to pass on a message. Said that when you come back, go to Thousand Eyes to find her. Read violent novels, just go to Fellow Fiction Network. Hakayasha?" Lin Kei was puzzled. What is she looking for me for? The other party is not the kind of person who takes revenge. Last time, since it was said that the matter was temporarily revealed, it should be put down. Lord Shirayasha's words may be to discuss with you about their outer gate dominator. Unlike Lin Kei, who had no clue, Black Rabbit had some guesses about this. Before you arrived, Forsgro was actually the strongest in the outer gate of 6,172,105,380. It's just that because of his relatively poor reputation, there are often various bad rumors, and Lord Shirayasha did not appoint him as the outer gate dominator. Now that Forsgro has lost, as the winner of defeating the other side, our strength is naturally guaranteed. Coupled with the good relationship between Lord Shirayasha and us, it should be that he wants to appoint Nameless as their outer gate dominator, to manage the security of the outer gate in 2,105,380. Lincoln, that's a good thing. Although becoming a outer gate dominator requires maintaining law and order, the benefits obtained are also relative. For example, the realm gate of the outer gate of Li 2,105,380 can be used at will without a name, and a part of the share can be obtained. Even if the amount is small, it is a lot of income after it accumulates. This is a good thing for the Nameless who is currently in ruins. Then I'll go to the Thousand Eyes to see Shirayasha first. After making a decision, Lin Kei did not act immediately. After thinking about it, his gaze looked at the black pupil standing behind him, staring at the Black Rabbit's ears all the time. Black Eye, you come with me too. Chapter 073. Me? Hearing Lin Kei's words, the black eyes looked over dumbfounded. It sounds like you're going to meet some amazing big guy. Is it okay to bring me? Of course it's no problem. Shirayasha would probably welcome you if he saw you. With a slight pause on the beautiful face of the black pupil, Lin Kei continued. And have you forgotten, I brought you to the box court not just for you to be a guard. As the younger sister of Akatumi, the growth path of black pupil and Akatumi is not the same. Not selected to be bred by elite assassins, she was injected with drugs to forcibly improve her physical fitness from an early age. Although the effect is significant, the side effects are also relative. When Lin Kei first met the other party in the palace, black pupil's body was already full of holes, and there were only a few years of living left. Although Kuro Hitumi himself did not care about this, he felt that it was enough to be able to live peacefully with his sister in the last stage of his life. But for Lin Kei, it was different. It's the same as the collection card. You can collect a series of cards and unlock the Sister Flower achievement. It suddenly turns out that someone is going to snatch his sister card and destroy his Sister Flower achievement and full achievement archive. This kind of thing that will affect his mood. Lin Kei naturally can't ignore it. Thousand Eyes is the largest commercial community in the Hao Court, and basically the gifts circulating in the world can be bought from there. If you want to recuperate your body, sooner or later you will have to go to there. Thousand Eyes sighed for a walk. Since Shirayasha wants to see me, it's just right to take you with me. Speaking of this, Lin Kei paused slightly, and suddenly glanced at the red pupils on the side. With an expectant look. Kai Hitumi, you come with you too. So you guy, these days I'm waiting for you. Are you out to play with beautiful girl sisters? In the meeting room of the Thousand Eyes, Bayayasha tugged at Lin Kei's collar, with an envious expression on his face. I also brought it here to show off. You shouldn't want to fight me. Abominable bastard. Holding his armpits with both hands and lifting Bayayasha aside, Lin Kei replied with a smile. Didn't I say it just now, mainly to solve the problem of black pupils? As for Kai Hitumi, I saw that she was worried about her sister, so I brought it with her. Come less, you definitely did it on purpose. Bayayasha's reason for Lin Kei was not to believe a word. She has already seen the condition of the black pupils, that is, the simple physical potential. Transition is overdrawn. Gifts that replenish life force, potions, or special cultivation methods can solve this problem. Simple and crude, you can even let Letitia directly convert it into a ghost species. By transforming the way the species is made, the physical potential and comprehensive quality are improved to complete the treatment in disguise. The solution to this level of problem seemed to be Ayasha's opinion, and there was no need to bring it over for her to check in person. Lin Kei, this guy is definitely deliberately showing. Speaking of which, the photos you kid promised before, we haven't seen any of them so far. As if thinking of something, Bayayasha suddenly looked at Lin Kei with an unkind face. Shouldn't it be a pigeon preparation? How is that possible? I am the person who attaches the most importance to commitment. On the second day after speaking, Lin Kei, who had already left this matter to the back of his mind, coughed and made up a reason on the spot. I didn't say anything just now. The matter of Bolsius just ended a few days ago, and I went out to look for new members. I just came back today. I'll customize some clothes from you later, and I'll give it to you next time. HMPH, I'll believe you once. Bayayasha snorted in dissatisfaction, took out the blue flower that Lin Kei had given her earlier, and placed it on the table. Let's get down to business. The results you asked me to identify before have come out. Is this done? Lin Kei was a little surprised, It is worthy of 1,000 eyes, and the efficiency is really high. Due to the lack of manpower of Nameless, Letitia has been anonymous since she was bought, helping Black Rabbit with some daily tasks. Except for leaving a little blood for Shirayasha, Letitia basically did not cooperate with 1,000 eyes to help determine the effect of the blue flower. Under this premise, the identification of the blue flower can be completed in less than half a month, and the efficiency is indeed not low. What is the result? Can it take effect on Letitia? It works. Bayayasha looked at Lin Kei in front of him, and an inexplicable look flashed in his eyes. Not only did it work, but the effect was unexpectedly good. Do you know what that means, Lin Kei? It represents the further improvement of Letitia's strength. That's just one of them, and the most critical thing is race. Shirayasha looked at the blue flower, the race that can overcome the sun through this flower, and the race of Letitia have a certain commonality in their bloodline. And after the identification, I can confirm that the part that shares the blood is mankind. Lin Kei was stunned. Human? If he was talking about the ghosts of the world destroying the world, he could understand it. After all, the evil ghosts that destroy the world are essentially advanced life forms evolved by humans. Read violent novels, just go to Fellow Fiction Network. But Letitia's words, isn't she a purebred vampire? How come you suddenly have human blood again? As if thinking of something, Lin Kei's eyes suddenly widened. Hakayasha, does it mean that Letitia she? That's right, that's what you think. Oh, Bayayasha nodded, so you understand why I called you here. Understand, this kind of news must be said in person to ensure that it will not be known by outsiders. Lin Kei took a deep breath, still with a slightly shocked expression on his face. I didn't expect that as a vampire royal family, Letitia would actually cheat on a human shin. Sure enough, marriage problems are everywhere, even the box court is inevitable, and you must always guard against the old king next door. Then again, which one is enviable? I mean faceless bastards, doing such a thing? Shirayasha, what the hell do you understand? Rarely, Hakayasha's blood pressure was full. Chapter 074. Before today, Bayayasha had always known that Lin Kei's brain circuits were a little different. But she can also understand this. After all, the strong always have to be a little different. So she is, so is Aja, so is the Halloween Queen, and even those gods and Buddhas. Even if the brain circuit is a little peculiar, the personality is worse, and the usual work is a little messy. But in Bayayasha's opinion, Lin Kei is also a person who can communicate normally. But today, this idea of Shirayasha was broken. God, Letitia, her mother cheated. Do you kid want to see what he's talking about? Dartilda. The innocent folding fan was broken by the emotionally uncontrollable Shirayasha and fell to their ground in two. Hakayasha raised his little white hand and slapped the table in front of him hard, making a clanging sound. Do you want us to help you relay this to Letitia so that she can see the true face of her master? Don't get excited, I'm not kidding. Unexpectedly, Lin Kei, who reacted so much, waved his hand, and a smile appeared on his face. And don't you think my guess is reasonable? Reasonable what? Hakayasha replied. Letitia's gift is called pure vampire. If it's really a half-blood, do you think you can call it? Can't you? Lin Kei tilted his head. Only, stop, let's be blunt. Letitia's race is pure-blood vampires, and her mother and her father are also very affectionate and did not cheat. Your guess is nonsense and wrong. So it is. Lin Kei touched his chin thoughtfully. If that's the case, 163, there's only one answer. The current vampire race in the box court evolved from humans. It seems that your brain is not completely broken. Hakayasha finally calmed down. That's right, as you guessed, the vampire family of the box court evolved from humans. Of course. The specific reason is not convenient for me to say, you just need to know such a result. Did humans evolve? I understand. After digesting this news, Lin Kei's expression did not change much. After all, it didn't matter to him whether Letitia was a human or a vampire. As long as your little maid doesn't turn into Cthulhu, everything is fine. Speaking of which, why are you telling me such secret information? Is it what you want me to help me do? There is indeed a commission. Bayayasha spoke. I want to understand more about the race that needs that blue flower. You take me or give me the coordinates, and I can pay you a godhead. Do you want to see the Helmaite Tsuji without misery? Lin Kei raised his eyebrows, that may be a little nightly. He has been slaughtered by me, and he has evaporated along with his subordinates. Dead? Bayayasha was stunned, and his expression became a little regretful. Then there is no way. It seems that there is no such luck. You don't have to be so disappointed. After silently watching Bayayasha's reaction, Lin Kei suddenly spoke. Although the ghosts of that world were slaughtered by me, I have already figured out the reason why the Ghost King appeared. As long as I can put together enough materials, I can recreate that race again at any time. White Knight, a die, fork. This guy did it on purpose. I had to wait until she was disappointed before she spoke. The two small hands folded and squeezed, and Shirayasha felt that some hands itched and wanted to hit someone. Here you go. As if he hadn't seen Bayayasha's small movements, Lin Kei casually took out a piece of paper full of writing and a small bag from the gift card. This is the recipe for their evolution elixir. which is the potion I said earlier that caused that race to appear. As for the contents of the bag, it is the materials needed to configure their evolution elixir. The formula was obtained by Lin-Kei from Ghost Maitsuji Wuxi. As for the medicinal herbs in the small bag, they were sent through red envelopes after their butterfly Kani collected them in the Ghost Annihilation world a few days ago. Originally, Lin-Kei was going to make a potion to see the effect after returning this time, and since Ayasha needed it, he would give it to her first. After all, having a good relationship with each other can also make many things more convenient. On the other side, hearing Lin-Kei's words, Ayasha was stunned. Elixir? She had heard Lin-Kei say something before, and she thought that she was going to arrange something like a magic array. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be a race that was replaced by a potion. Without going to get the recipe first, Ayasha took the material bag and looked inside. As a living history of the box court, Ayasha was well informed and easily saw the value of these materials. It seems that they are all ordinary medicinal herbs, only the blue flower you gave me is slightly special. Yes, the materials are ordinary, Lin-Kei replied. However, the evolution potions made from these ordinary medicinal materials, ordinary people can also have 7-figure or even 6-figure strength after drinking. Ayasha showed a thoughtful look. Then the value of this potion is quite high compared with the value of these materials. The effect of this potion is much stronger. As long as you spend a little effort to cultivate these medicinal materials, you can continuously produce evolution elixir. Since it is a potion that strengthens itself, it will inevitably be more popular in the market than that of equipment-type bounty potions. With the accumulation of time, the total value of this formula may eventually be higher than their godhead she sent. At times like these, you're surprisingly generous. Although it was determined that the value of the evolution potion was high, Ayasha did not stop there. From her willingness to take out the godhead as a reward, it can be seen how much Ayasha cares about the evolution potion and the race that evolved after drinking the potion. After taking the formula, she put it away along with the material bag and looked at Lin-Kei again. Are you interested in being a territorial dominator? Territorial dominator? Lin-Kei looked over. Of course interested. If we say, the ruler of the outer gate, it is to manage the security of a certain outer gate. Then their regional dominator controls the area composed of several or even dozens of outer doors. Read violent novels. Just go to Fellow Fiction Network. In terms of power specifications, territorial dominator is the superior position of outer door dominator. Whether it is the benefits obtained or the spread of the community's reputation, it is several times that of the outer door dominator. But there are only a few people in Luming now, and it is easy to manage if you become a regional dominant. That doesn't matter. The little things that don't matter will generally be handled by others. As long as you, as their territorial dominator, intervene when something major arises, it is enough. Ayasha's fingers were casually in midair, and a piece of parchment emitting golden brilliance appeared in front of Lin-Kei. Above this is the outer gate of the area near the Toraichunis waterfall, including the 2,105,380 outer gate where the Nameless is currently located. Although they are all 7-figure outer doors, there are a lot of them, and there are usually no major things. If you are interested, I will leave it to you to manage. However, there is one thing I want to say in advance. As a regional dominator, in addition to enjoying benefits, you must also take responsibility. I don't ask you to do anything, but at least you can't mess around like Bolsius did back then. This is pure slander. I have always been law-abiding. Lin-Kei looked at the girl who had not spoken much on this side. Did you say yes, Red Pupil? Kai Pupil was stunned, and slightly recalled Lin-Kei's performance in the palace 3 days ago. It should be more law-abiding, right? Puff tilde. Your subordinates don't believe what you say. Listening to Akatumi's reply with 3 hesitations in that sentence, Ayasha couldn't help but laugh out loud. Not bad. Although it is Lin Kuei-sao's subordinate, you are still relatively honest. Do you have anything you wanted? Unexpectedly, the red pupil who recovered such an unfolded was stunned, and replied, I want to be able to help the black pupil heal his body. I want to think. Your sister is overdrawn and causes physical problems, so this is for you. Searching through the bounty card, Ayasha grabbed a fluorescent emerald green leaf and handed it to the black pupil sitting on the other side. This is the Nordic World Tree leaf, and I picked a few of them when I went to Odin's side. As long as you carry it close to your body for a long time, you can change your physique, heal your injuries, and replenish your vitality. You go back and make it into a pendant and wear it on your body. It's more than enough to solve your problem. Black pupil, don't take it soon. Looking at the black pupils that had not yet reacted, Lin-Kei reminded. This is a good opportunity to slaughter dogs. Don't hesitate. Ayasha glanced at him angrily. Can you kid use some formal words? I am obviously praising the honest. Akatumi's face showed gratitude. Thank you, Shirayasha-sama. Black pupil also came to his senses and repeated the sentence. Thank you, Lord Shirayasha. If you thank us, let's play with more thousand eyes. Ayasha took out a new folding fan and waved. Since Lin-Kei, this kid came, The Black Rabbit hasn't come over much. Usually alone, bored. Lin Kei glanced at her. Then you can come to play on the Nameless side. I don't mind. It is also convenient for him to spread rumors a few times, such as that Shirayasha and Nameless have an unknown relationship or something. That little bit of caution of yours, when he can't see it. Yakshaw was not fooled in the slightest and changed the subject. You said before that there is a shortage of people in Luming. Do you need us to send you a subordinate? Chapter 075. Sent him a subordinate. Hearing Bayasha's words, Lin Kei's face showed a thoughtful look. Are you sure you're sending your subordinates, not monitors? Then it's up to you. Yasha did not hide his intentions in the slightest. Although he said that he trusted Lin Kei before, since Lin Kei attacked Bolsius a few days ago, Bayasha saw this guy's character. It is impossible not to do something. At most it is the size of the problem, and the number of times. In order to prevent two serious problems, Bayasha had the idea of letting him be next to Lin Kei as early as the night when Bolsius lost 3 days ago. Well, after all, it is to give someone to you. Whether you want to return it or not is your own decision. Yasha clapped his hands and looked into the next room. It's time for you to appear. Shirayukai-hime? Yes, Shirayasha-sama. The door of the next room was pulled open, and a woman wearing a kimono, long black hair and a full body came out. Her feet in black stockings stepped on the ground, and a mesmerizing aura floated out of her. Sitting down behind Bayasha, Baixji took the initiative to speak. This should be regarded as the second the meeting. Lord Lin Kei. I just don't know. You still don't remember me? Naturally, there is an impression. Lin Kei smiled. The god of Bayasha, the water god of Talichunas waterfall. I didn't say anything wrong, right? Yes, Baixji said, a little surprised. I didn't expect that you could still recognize this look. It's really unexpected. After all, it is a 5-figure shame, and it is difficult to recognize it. However, combat effectiveness is only part of it, and Baixji is still very good in other aspects. His gaze circled Baixji, and while silently praising Bayasha's taste, Lin Kei asked, You are the subordinate that Shirayasha is going to give to me? That's right. Without waiting for Baixji to reply, Bayasha replied first, If you lack someone, take her away. Of course, if you are afraid that she will become a monitor, you can also choose to refuse. The initiative is in your hands, you decide. Shirayasha, what you said is a little rusty. Lin Kei shook his head and became a little dissatisfied. We are good friends. How can I possibly suspect that Baixji is a monitor you planted next to me? Bayasha sneered. A few minutes ago, you came up with the word monitor. Well, since you are kind, then it is a little bad for me not to accept it. Ignoring the expression on Bayasha's face, Lin Kei replied with a smile. From today onwards, Baixji will be my person. Don't worry, Yasha, no one under me can bully her. Let's just listen up. Seeing that Lin Kei successfully accepted Baixji, Bayasha didn't say anything more. Raising the teacup in his hand and taking a sip, Bayasha seemed to think of something again, and looked at Lin Kei again. By the way, since you have become the controller of the Torichunis waterfall area, there is something that needs to be done by you recently. The Torichunis Falls Harvest Festival is held by No Name in the Nameless main building. Listening to the news in his ears, the Black Rabbit who had just woken up seemed to have been struck by lightning, and the whole person stayed in place. This. The Black Rabbit opened his mouth to speak, and finally said nothing, but the whole person suddenly knelt on the ground. The rabbit ears on the top of her head slowly drooped. Obviously she had just woken up, but she seemed to have been fighting on the battlefield for several days and nights, and she was extremely depressed. What's wrong with you? Lin Kei half squatted down and stretched out his hand to flick the Black Rabbit's 10-pounding ears twice. Isn't that a good thing? How do you feel? Like you're very unhappy? Master, it's no longer a matter of whether you're happy or not. Letitia on the side was a little unbearable, and took the initiative to explain. Being able to become a regional dominator, and be responsible for holding such a large-scale harvest festival is indeed a good thing for Nameless. But the problem now is that the Torichunis Falls Harvest Festival is not an ordinary harvest festival. Ask for flowers. When it officially starts, it will attract people from all the outer doors of the nearby area, and even tourists from out of town. To hold a harvest festival of this size, there are many things that need to be dealt with. In addition, we, as the organizer, will also host several bounty games. It's just the Black Rabbit, I'm afraid. Speaking of this, Letitia stopped and did not say any more. But her meaning is still clearly expressed. No, this will really tire the rabbit. The Black Rabbit on this side held his head in his hands and lay on the ground and wailed. Read violent novels. Just go to Fellow Fiction Network. Even if people don't sleep every day, they can't do so much alone. Lin Kei, you idiot. Didn't you think about this kind of thing when you took over the task from Lord Shirayasha? You can't blame me for this. As a professional non-stick pan, Lin Kei naturally would not admit that he did not expect it at that time. Various thoughts crossed his mind, and he instantly thought of a reason to reply. At the end of the day, I'm just fulfilling your wish. Black Rabbit, have you forgotten? Lin K reminded. It was when I just photographed Letitia a week ago and came back to tell you about my next plan. You are very dissatisfied that your only role is to leave Nameless temporarily, and you want me to give you something you can do. At that time, you also promised me that whatever could be done by you, you would definitely get it done. I specially helped you take this task this time in order to fulfill your wishes. I really can't blame me. Does this have to be weird? The social animal Black Rabbit wailed. Even if you put a little big talk when you guarantee it, normal people will definitely not give people so much work at once. It took a lot of effort to deal with Bolsius' bunch of things. As soon as I woke up, I told people that there was still 100 times more work to do. That's cruel. Fourth,